Clark Radio, talking about the sports you do and don't know, both within and surrounding Baltimore. Don't ask him about preseason games, oh no, stuffing things in Griffin Basso. Despite it being on the internet, he can call it what he wants. So, Glenn Clark Radio, Glenn Clark Radio, Glenn Clark Radio.
Good morning. It is a Friday edition of Glenn Clark Radio, post-draft edition. Mrs. Clark's birthday edition.
Happy birthday, Mrs. Clark.
She's definitely not listening. There's no chance that that's possible.
Should I call her?
Yeah. I would right now.
Okay. Actually, don't have her.
I guess she's never. She probably will hate you too. Because
Really?
She'll probably hate you for the fact that you didn't. It's what it is.
Well, can we?
I didn't get a lot of sleep last night. We had a great time. Man, what a time we had at Live Casino and Hotel. It was really cool. So many listeners. Just an amazing amount of fun last night inside Sports and Social. We're going to go back for the Kentucky Derby. We're going to do a pre-Derby party starting at about 5:30 next Saturday. So we're going to do best dressed, best hat, everything like that. We want to go all out for the Kentucky Derby. So you're going to want to come join us. Plus, they'll have – what's the big fight next Saturday night?
Is Canelo fighting that
Canelo,
night?
I think.
Canelo's fighting some trash can, I think.
Well, they normally call them tomato cans. That's the way that it works.
Well, this one's a trash can.
I don't know if that's true. But they're going to be showing the fight afterwards, so it's going to be an amazing Saturday night at Sports and Social inside Live Casino and Hotel.
William Skull.
Yeah, that's the one. Come join me inside Sports and Social for the Kentucky Derby. Looking forward to that, and thanks to everybody who came out last night. Really had an amazing time. It was funny. I got to a point where I just wanted to hang out. Like after the Commanders pick, I was no longer working, and then I was just chilling and having a good time with everybody because we had so much fun. Got a little dicey. We played draft bingo last night, and I thought I was gonna get murdered because we only had one grand prize for draft bingo, and like after the fifth pick, everybody was racing. I'm like, But everybody was very cool. Very good time. Appreciate you all coming out. All right, we're going to be talking, obviously, a lot about Malaki Starks this morning. His high school coach, Gene Cathcart, is going to join us a little bit later on, plus Chris Doering from SEC Network, scheduled to check in with us as well. Hoping to make a trip to Norfolk to catch up with Jud Fabian. Ruben Hyppolite, former Terp's going to hear his name called before the weekend runs out. He'll be joining us. Jeremy Conn is going to be in studio at some point this morning, shoving wieners with white stuff all over them.
Is that how we're phrasing it?
That's what he's going to be doing. There's just going to be some creamy white stuff
over
the wieners, and he's going to put them in his mouth.
Suddenly I'm not as excited for
I understand.
this.
I'm looking forward to this. Jeremy's got a bet that he's got to pay off, so he's going to do that a little bit later on. So, and then who knows what surprises might pop up during the course of the morning. It's really, first of all, I handed Griffin the gun yesterday, and I said, go ahead and shoot me. Go ahead and do it.
What? Now? Again?
No. I handed it to him. I said, you get to pick the order that we do the draft. You can pick, you want to go first? You go first. You want to go third? You can go third. He said,
I didn't think you.
He said,
I don't know.
You go first. Now, as I said all along, and I'm not trying to pretend like I want to make two things abundantly clear.
Yeah, you cheated.
Eric DaCosta told
me because right before we started,
nothing.
you were like, you get the snake pick.
Yeah, you did. You got it. Eric DaCosta told me nothing. No one in the Ravens front office told me anything. I do my work with whatever work I do, with other league sources. And what's hilarious is that the Ravens have this reputation of being very tight-lipped and very, as you realized in the last week or so, that was not really the case any longer. Because the two players that I was confident in, based on the quality of the sources and the quality of the information they were giving me, there were two players that I was confident in that the Ravens were genuinely interested in. And one of them was off the board well before the Ravens got there.
Yeah.
That is the Dallas Cowboys.
Very surprised.
They do what they want to do, man.
They needed their Zach Martin replacement.
They got Tyler Booker. The other one was sitting there at 27. Now, admittedly, in the moment, I did start saying to myself, I'd be good with Mike Green here. But, some off-the-field stuff there. The Ravens weren't wavering. And this one was so telegraphed that a month ago, Reed and I did a whole segment on the radio station about the betting odds for what position the Ravens were going to take. And I said, there is absolutely no way that safety should be plus 690. That's insane. And someone hit on that plus 690 last night.
Ooh, look at
Someone
this guy.
did that.
Using his insider.
Yeah, insider trading. Yeah, sure. Now, I also had Shedeur Sanders under 21.5, so it wasn't a perfect night for your boy. But, yeah. Let you go ahead and shoot yourself with that gun that I handed you. I said, here's the gun. You choose who you want to shoot. And you said,
I had a Tyler Warren first tight end taken.
ooh, that's rough.
Yeah.
That's rough. That didn't go so well. Malaki Starks. So somebody got a point in our draft last night.
Well, but let's say the draft explosion. No more draft, right? So I still don't lose though because I had.
Oh, you got the tiebreaker.
I got the tiebreaker.
What was the time?
11:10.
11:10.
I had 11:08.
All right, not bad.
Oh, right there.
But no, it's not the way that it works.
What do you mean that's not the way that it
You
works?
would still need to make sure that
I beat Joe.
Terp and by the way, you could still get past me too. I mean, I only get 1 point.
Yeah.
There's a lot more picks coming, but a lot of names that we can already go ahead and scratch off from our list. Everybody else's first round pick is gone. This pen doesn't work, so I'm not going to be scratching anything off with that. Malaki Starks is the pick. As far as my thoughts on Malaki Starks, beyond the fact that it was telegraphed, there was a reason why it was telegraphed. It's very sensical for the Ravens to have made the Malaki Starks pick. I do get the sense that the thing that we talked about from Matt Miller is more of the truth, which is the Ravens, they really liked how the defense looked when they weren't having to move Kyle Hamilton around. And we like the idea of Kyle Hamilton being this Swiss Army knife because it seems cool. But Malaki Starks is also quite capable of being a Swiss Army knife. And truthfully, Malaki Starks, not really great in deep coverage. That's not really his forte. Certainly wasn't last year at Georgia. He was better in that department 2 years ago. I'm not really sure what the story was there. So this, based on what they want, makes sense. And we can debate whether or not it should have been freed up to go the other way. Should you have been finding a better free safety? I don't know. The way the defense looked with Kyle Hamilton playing that role, I understand why this was their decision. If, again, that is the plan. And I think it's the plan. What concerns you about Malaki Starks? Again, the only thing would be coverage. That wasn't great. He's obviously a hard worker, busts his ass type. It gives him a lot of weapons. I think the only, if I did pros and cons, the cons would probably be more opportunity costs. What was on the table that the Ravens didn't go with at that point? Would they have been better off taking a corner? Is that a more pressing need for the Ravens than safety was, right? Could they have gotten a starting caliber safety a little bit later on, and it might be more difficult to get a starting caliber corner? Will Mike Green become a stud edge rusher? Something the Ravens have lacked for years. A franchise-type edge rusher. Those would be the questions to me that would be related, not really about Malaki Starks. It's really hard to poke a hole in the actual selection of Malaki Starks. That comes off as just a really solid pick. And maybe some of that is just we got so familiar with him because it was kind of so clear that the Ravens were interested in Malaki Starks that we invested in a little bit more. I know, like, our friend Ken Zales is still disappointed it's not Nick Emanwari, just because he really kind of loves how freakish Emanwari is.
Maybe they take both.
I'd be really surprised by that. That would be stunning if that would be the next move, but I guess it's not impossible. I get it, right? Like, I understand. And I also think it comes down to how you want. I had to talk more about this with KZ. I think some of that is the way that he wants them to use Kyle Hamilton and why that's the choice. But, yeah, I can't be mad about it. I just can't. I think it's a solid, smart pick, and that's what the Ravens tend to do. Is it going to be the pick that lifts them over the hump in January and helps them win the Super Bowl? I don't know, dog. I can't really answer that question. A lot of people pointing out how the rest of the division all took defensive linemen. Like, as if that's their way of saying, hey, our path has to involve stopping Derrick Henry. Maybe. The Ravens' path is, I don't know, don't turn the ball over.
Right, yeah. It's
like, that's the problem, is that, like, the Ravens, it doesn't appear to be a roster issue. It appears to be a panic issue from the last 2 years. 2 years ago, just panicking and play calling. Last year, panicking and trying to do so much in playmaking. The roster, it doesn't seem to be the problem. I think they need to create more turnovers. That's something that I think they need to do. Can Malaki Starks help with that? I think so. It perhaps isn't as direct. Like, it's one thing when I brought up Xavier Watts, and I looked at Xavier Watts' numbers from last year and said, boy, you know, the Ravens could use 7 interceptions. That would be phenomenal. It's perhaps not quite the same because Malaki Starks' history is not necessarily the one that would make you say he specifically will be the turnover creator. He had 6 career interceptions over 3 years. He did not force a fumble. Which doesn't mean he's not helpful at all in creating turnovers, but, and I'm not trying to suggest that Xavier Watts, whoever drafts him, they're going to get 7 interceptions from him next year. But the idea is you put one more playmaker out on the field, it perhaps frees things up now for Kyle Hamilton to go get more turnovers, whoever it is. In writing what I wrote, that impact edge rusher is the thing that I find myself saying, like, the best bet for maybe creating more turnovers is that guy. And that's why, despite the fact that I had actual American money on them taking Malaki Starks, I did find myself kind of selfishly saying, I think I might want it to be Mike Green right here. And I know we don't have it on tape, but I literally was walking around the Sports and Social last night, asking Ravens fans what they wanted there, and they were asking me, and I was saying, I really do kind of want, personally, Mike Green right here. I do. Because to me, that's the biggest way that you can go about impacting that. But I just don't know how anybody could be down on Malaki Starks.
And no one is, are they? I mean,
it's the same. Like, there are people that just preferred something else, and so because of that, I don't think anybody's actually down on the pick itself or thinks that Malaki Starks isn't a worthy pick or anything like that. I I don't know how anybody wouldn't be happy. Now, they don't play the games today. It's just a football player. They got one. They're going to take a couple more, presumably, tonight. I still think edge rush, cornerback are probably their top areas. Interior line. Kind of stunned by how early the interior lineman went between Tyler Booker and Gray Zabel. Like, that was kind of flooring.
Buck Showalter knew what he was talking about.
Yeah, he was high on Gray Zabel.
Bloody nose gas.
You know,
My guess is Mike McDonald was listening, and that's why.
you think that's what it was?
Yeah.
Is that he heard
Yeah.
Buck Showalter say it and then said, I got to get that guy? It's possible. I hadn't thought about that. That's definitely possible. But I think that's the route they're going to go. And what order they address those things, don't know. But I think they're going to look to address some of them, and who knows? Again, this is the nice part about having a mostly complete roster is that it does allow for, I know a lot of people are freaking out about like the idea that the draft board was up. This is all over the internet, like this notion that like their draft board was on display behind them. And if you really think for a second that the Baltimore Ravens would allow cameras to shoot their actual order of draft picks, my God. I don't know what it was. I haven't bothered to look. I don't know if it was like last year's draft board. I don't know if it was, if it's just a dummy they put up to try to get you to do this. I think the Ravens do things wrong. I don't think they're perfect by any stretch of the imagination.
So they're reacting to the NFL Network shot.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't make out really any of these.
Yeah,
names.
I couldn't. I don't know if there's some internet sleuth who can. The point is, what I know.
I guess
is
you can start like.
no matter what.
Yeah.
What I promise you is that is not their board. And I believe this happened once before, and it might even be their way of having fun with it. That's not their board. I assure you. These teams invite the cameras in. They know exactly where the cameras are.
It looks like it's last year's board, so I can read.
Can you?
The one name I can make out is it says round one and so Caleb Williams is the first
There you
name.
go.
And,
There you go.
And that I see under round one.
I assure you.
So
Whatever it is, it's not this year's board. That is, we do this every year where some people overreact to stuff like this, and that's the way that it goes. But yeah, I mean, I'm totally good with Malaki Starks. We'll see. You know, doesn't guarantee anything. Doesn't mean that he's going to be an impact player. Once upon a time, the Ravens took a safety late in round one that was one of the worst picks they've ever made. But I don't have any reason to think that Malaki Starks will be that guy. So that's the story. As far as the rest of the draft last night was concerned, the Shedeur thing, if you want to say it's perplexing, it just sort of depends on whose opinion you're asking. There are some evaluators that genuinely believe from a sheer talent, not from all of the coded BS that we talk about, from a sheer talent perspective, that this is right for where Shedeur Sanders is. The thing that I always talk about, and we talked about it yesterday, is even if that's the case, even if that's true, that Shedeur Sanders really is only like the 35th, 36th, 37th or so prospect in this draft, that these teams that need quarterbacks are better off having them for a fifth year. That's why we just don't see a lot of second-round quarterbacks in this modern era. In fact, I think somebody pointed out last night that the only one in the last 3 drafts was Will Levis. Now, again, if there's an example of maybe why you don't want a fifth year, maybe Will Levis will provide you that example because they're going to be moving on from Will Levis. But the point is you don't do it because if you think you need a quarterback, you want the fifth year for that quarterback. The number of teams that are actively choosing to not have anyone on their roster that might be their franchise quarterback is wild to me. Whatever you think about Shedeur Sanders, he might be a franchise quarterback. Now, the Browns will have the first opportunity to go get him, and maybe they will. Now, somebody...
Yeah, right. Why not? Right.
Try to jump?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if somebody
30,
else wants him.
31, whatever.
Yeah, right. Like,
and get that the fifth year option. But
Well, again, doing it last night makes way more sense.
Mm-hmm.
Doing it last night was the way to do it. But, that's gone by. You can't change that at this point. This is where you are. Presumably, the Cleveland Browns, with the first pick of the second round, can just take Shedeur Sanders. If they don't, I'm throw your hands up in the air. Because it's insane.
We'll just take another D tackle, maybe.
Yeah, sure. It's utterly insane. Now, the Browns might say, well, we got all these quarterbacks on the roster. No. You have players that play the quarterback position. You don't have quarterbacks. God love you, Joe. You're my guy.
Yeah, what the hell are we doing? They have Joe Flacco.
There was a guy last night in Sports and Social with the Browns Joe Flacco jersey.
Nice.
I was happy about that. But for the Pittsburgh Steelers to actively choose to not have it is as perplexing as anything that you'll find. Make fun of the Giants all you want for taking Jackson Dart over Shedeur Sanders. Dumb guy. Of the two, I'd rather have Shedeur Sanders. But at least they have someone on their roster that might be a franchise quarterback. Might be. Why any team would operate without having either definitively a franchise quarterback or someone who might be your franchise quarterback is effing insane. God bless the Pittsburgh Steelers for being that team.
Ravens
And by the way, they don't have a
lucky.
second-round pick either.
Wow, they don't?
Traded it for DK Metcalf.
Well,
They don't have the ability to go say, well, maybe Jalen Milroe falls to us. They're Dunsky. A lot of people are talking about the Rams going and get a quarterback, and it's an interesting conversation. Do they have an arguable franchise quarterback? Because they have a guy at the moment who is still playing at a high enough level that you can argue he's still a franchise quarterback. And yes, if the Pittsburgh Steelers are just so sure that Aaron Rodgers is about to be their quarterback that they've just decided we're not going to do quarterback, you still can't make that argument. He's not. Those days have expired. It's like thinking that you had a franchise quarterback with Russell Wilson. You didn't. It blows my mind. It blows my mind that New Orleans Saints didn't take a quarterback. Everybody keeps saying, well, you can't waste these assets on quarterbacks that might not work. You don't have anything unless you have a quarterback. It is not worth with all respect. It is not. Everybody keeps telling me how like Geno Smith is better than anybody realizes he is. If you've got Geno Smith, you don't have a quarterback. This is the league, man. There is no value to going 10-7 and losing in the first round of the playoffs. It'd be a very binary, well, we could either be 10-7 or we can be 2-15 for the next 5 years. If those are your choices, then you'd say, I guess it'd be more pleasant to be 10-7. I guess. But, of course, if you're going to be 2-15 for 1 year, then you might be able to find your quarterback. Blows my mind how many teams sign up for this. Speaking of blowing.
I just got done. Where's my jizzies? They're no longer glizzies the way you guys are trying to.
I really do like that.
Thank you.
I really do like that.
The jizzies. Oh,
God,
am I on? I can't.
Yeah.
Conn
Can I do the
joined
M&M?
us
Turn me up in the
studio.
headphones?
Yeah, right. Turn me up in my headphones. I need more of my headphones.
Yes. There we go.
Is that
Sibilance.
M&M? I thought that was Dylon. You sure it wasn't Dylon?
I think all of them did. I think I just took your phone.
Sure. Yeah. You don't want to look at certain pictures.
Mine-
They're mostly of you.
Should I start,
Oh, nice.
Should I start heating up the dogs now? Or?
Yeah. We'll take-
I can't see my back, so that's why I need to see those.
How long? Jeremy Conn is in studio. You want to give me two thoughts on? I know you spent 4 hours talking about it this morning.
Yeah, I mean, look, I love the pick. It's so funny. I was just watching Chris Sims talk about it, saying, yeah, he's a good football player. I'd like him on my defense, but I wouldn't take him in the first round. And he's from Georgia. And I'm like, what does the Georgia thing have? Do you just not like players from Georgia? I don't think this guy has a traffic violation yet. So I do think he fits in, and it allows you to turn Kyle Hamilton back into.
Yeah. Well, okay. See, I think it's the exact opposite of that.
Okay.
Every sense that I've gotten is that they intend for Kyle Hamilton to be their deep safety, and for Malaki Starks to be used in more of that role.
See, and I think if you have the option, even with Ardarius there, well, there's probably, you know what? It's all going to happen because he's so good at it. You're still going to see Kyle Hamilton near the line of scrimmage because,
inevitably,
frankly, he might be their best pass rusher when all's said and done.
There's an argument for that. I don't know. Like, Starks in deep coverage, particularly last year, was not great.
The thing I read on him, and then even seeing some of it, was he wasn't like, there are times he didn't wrap up. If you want to be like, if you start nitpicking, you'll look at it and go, okay, I didn't like this, but I'll go back to what they said about Marlon Humphrey, is that he couldn't defend the long ball, and in the first couple of years, we're like, I didn't see that.
Right.
Correct.
I the only thing I could have come up with is like the opportunity cost. Like, there is a part of me that has been so desperate to see this team find an impact edge rusher. Not to take anything away from Kyle Van Noy, who has been a miracle since arriving in Baltimore, but a franchise type of edge rusher. I know the off the field stuff with Mike Green, but like that's the one that I would say, and maybe that you look back on and say you had an opportunity to find like the guy. So I asked somebody today in the know, like, if Pierce was on the board, the guy that was taken right in front of him, would they have taken him? And the answer that I was told was no. That the Ravens loved Booker, the guy that the Cowboys took. Those are the only two guys I knew definitively that the Ravens loved going into the draft were Booker and Starks.
Yeah, and the other guy was the guy that Seattle took. The
lineman.
Yeah,
Gray Zabel.
They liked him. So those were what I heard were the options there. And again, there's not too much that leaks out on the Ravens. They're pretty good at keeping everything.
Although I got to tell you, man, the Stark stuff.
This is the first time in a long time that we've talked about a guy and he was the guy.
Everyone said the same thing about Malaki Starks.
What's wrong with those?
I left it in the microwave too long.
Oh, you're microwaving my wieners? I don't even get the full boil.
You want the boil? You want them on the grill? You want us to bring out the old George Foreman?
So can I, like,
wanna go that
being
route?
brutally honest, and I think I told you this before, like, I'm taking those shots to I can't work out anymore because of my back. Eventually I got to have the back surgery. So I started doing
so many things I want to say right now.
Go ahead, man.
There's so many.
You have, like, I'm falling apart from every standpoint of life, like mentally and physically, and I'm working on getting my mental better, and my
Thank
physical's
God
like
you still have your good looks.
I know.
Thank God.
Yeah, this small penis and good looks, right?
Imagine.
Yeah. Well, no, but in truth be told, like, I never eat in the morning. Like, they dropped off food today, and
What was it?
well, they had bagels today, but
Thanks a lot for not bringing any over bagel.
I didn't know you wanted any. I thought you were gonna have some of my
I'm not
wieners.
sure if my key card still works over there or not.
Oh man, don't even get me started.
I don't-
You're gonna get me in trouble.
I'm pretty sure the key card still works.
I mean, you're gonna get me in trouble because there's people that I go to bat for, and
I'm not
Okay.
here to have. I'm not doing it.
Okay, because
I'm good. I'm honest to God. I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good.
No more holidays.
I don't even know. I genuinely. I still work there.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
What they say? They press pause,
What I don't.
and then you got the email that everybody else was supposed to get.
They screwed that up.
Yeah.
Bad.
Well,
They-
anyway,
there's a lot of things that happen.
but I just don't eat in the morning, and I'm not hungry. So, like, even the hardest part of this might even be me. Like, I'm gonna try to shuffle through these as quick as I can, mind
Yeah.
over matter, or maybe I do what I did when
Oh, you want to do this Joey Chestnut style?
I
You want to? I'm all in on. I'm all in for that.
I don't know if I can
You
sit
wanna
there and
dip 'em
pound
in
those,
Celsius?
but
No, you're not allowed to
that's
do
in
that.
case I got to chug it down.
Okay.
Because and the other thing I'll tell you too is if I end up throwing up,
Oh God.
you guys are gonna think I'm dying. You don't have to take me to the hospital, okay?
All right, good.
I don't love that.
But
I
he
don't
did.
love that.
Griffin did tell me if I eat one without breaking it, that I don't have to eat the rest of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that the way that it works?
I think so.
I don't think that's the way that it works. I'm pretty sure you have to eat all four.
Okay.
So this still goes back to last summer.
Correct. Yeah.
We're not
Yeah.
quick to pay things off.
No,
around this
and look,
place. I
most of
lost-
this is on me. Like
Yeah.
scheduling wise, it's a bitch. But like,
I lost the picks. Griffin hasn't even made the phone calls yet. He hasn't even started
yeah.
in the process of getting that bet paid off.
well, you might want
So-
to wait for that thing forever.
Oh, I don't. I would rather just get it over with.
I do have some bad news though.
What's that?
I'm not doing any more of these food things moving forward.
Oh, Jeremy.
I'm done. I'm out.
Jeremy.
Yep. And I'm not Andrew Stecca either. So if you're gonna try to strong arm
we're
me and send me,
definitely-
you can send me
we're
the
definitely-
picture. You ain't getting an email
We're
back
definitely
from me.
strong arming you. You were the one that volunteered to get.
Yeah.
We didn't even bug you to get
Mm-mm.
in.
No, I got in, and I got in some of the other ones that you were doing. He asked me about the women's college bracket.
Yeah.
And I was like, and I just said, no.
What the hell?
I don't want to look at all these teams. Like, was TCU good? Tell me about Arizona State.
They have Haley Van Lith. Why wouldn't you like TCU? She's in the swimsuit issue.
I'm getting to that point where I definitely don't want to eat hot dogs with mayonnaise on them. I hate mayonnaise.
So yeah, this was. Where did this come from? The Mayo Dog thing. I don't remember.
Summer, I guess a baseball thing.
But no, it had to start somewhere. It has to start sometime. With better
find
place
our
than here. With
I
better
thought there
times
was like
now.
an ad of people that enjoyed mayonnaise on their hot dogs.
That must be what it was. This came around from the internet somewhere, but it's been so long that I don't know where it started from.
By the way, I can definitely eat these without breaking them.
We did the with the Euro and the Copa America.
Yes.
Were the 2 soccer tournaments last year, and
And you guys picked 4 countries for me that I didn't even know existed.
I believe it
You
was
got the United States.
I didn't know they existed.
in
to be honest
soccer.
with
To
you.
be fair, yeah, I mean, like,
Yeah, tell me I got the United States in anything except soccer.
Jeremy's like, oh, I got the U.S. That's great. Are we doing basketball?
Soccer or BMI. I don't want either one of those for the
Not
U.S.
great.
Yeah.
Not great.
That body mass index,
great.
not a good sign for them.
So Jeremy, whatever teams he had, he was the loser of the.
I had Albania I didn't know Albania had a soccer team. I just knew Marco from Tripolia was there.
Are we sure that Albania has a soccer team?
You may have just.
Is it possible that because it was Proctor? I think is it possible that Proctor just has it out for you?
He just okey-doked me.
Just gave you like the. I think the deal was.
I got North Korea. Do they even have a team too? Are they allowed to play?
God,
No, I didn't get North Korea.
it certainly shouldn't be.
I'm trying to think who I know. I had Albania. I had the
Hang on a
U.S.
second. Hang on.
What?
Hang on. I've got the Euro-Copa. That's what
There
we
it
called it.
is.
Euro-Copa. And your teams were.
Guam,
Hang on. Jeremy had.
Madagascar.
Oh, you had Italy. I mean,
Well,
to be
that's a good
fair.
one, yeah.
Yeah, way
To
to
be
start
fair.
off. They suck too.
They did. That's the
Oh
problem.
no, we suck again.
You really got effed by Italy. You had the Ukraine, and
Well, Italy was supposed to be my number
was the
one,
one,
right?
correct.
That's my
That was-
lockdown corner.
That was what screwed you. Is
Yeah.
that you spent your number 1 pick on a guy that never played.
And then you followed it up with what?
The Ukraine.
Oh yeah, they're not
in the middle of a war.
they're not in a war or
In the middle of
anything.
a war, trying to play soccer.
You think they could send their best 11 soccer players over?
You did indeed have Albania. That was a thing.
F you, Griffin.
And
Did
you-
you pull these?
No, I think it was
yeah,
Proctor. I think it was
John
Proctor.
Proctor pulled these.
You
Proctor.
had the U.S. and you had Bolivia.
Bolivia.
For
yeah.
what it's worth, lots of fun facts about Bolivia.
Yeah, they're great with cocaine.
They're a landlocked country,
Yeah.
and yet they have a navy.
Oh, very
Go
nice.
figure
I
that
didn't know
out,
that,
right?
but that's
You can
something I'm putting
use
in the
that for
cap now.
trivia at
Yeah.
some point. That's how we learned that. Also, I believe the highest elevation capital city in at least South America, if not perhaps the world.
You got to get that good Bolivian stuff or the Colombian Bam Bam. That's where
the
you want to
Colombian
go.
Bam Bam's
Yeah.
the real winner. I was apparently the big winner of the Euro-Copa. I had Spain, who won the Euro. I had Switzerland, Czechia, whatever that is, Mexico, and Canada.
Was it Chechnya or Chechnya?
Czechia?
It's the old Czech
Czechia.
Republic. Yes.
Oh, that's
It
what
is-
it's called now?
yeah.
Is it?
I believe so, yeah.
Well, I thought it was Slovakia and Czech Republic. What happened to?
Is it
Well,
called?
now it's Czechia.
Is the Czech Republic just Czechia?
Yes.
Is that what it is?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Griffin had
know.
the
I
Netherlands,
didn't
Serbia,
have-
Slovenia,
Oh,
Colombia.
the Netherlands.
Paraguay.
Yeah, that's not a good
it's
one.
not just that Jeremy lost; it's that he lost like with a bullet.
Yeah, I didn't.
No one was even close.
Did any of my did I win a game?
You had.
Did any of my teams win one
no
game?
one won more than one game. Italy,
Yeah, wow.
apparently the Ukraine won a match. Good.
I
for
think
them.
my two of my teams played each other and neither one won.
Right.
I think it ended in a draw.
Scoreless draw, right? The U.S. also apparently, I don't remember them winning a game, but they apparently won a game as well.
Who did they beat?
I don't remember.
Haiti?
Yes.
Like-
Definitely, probably Morocco. No, Morocco's good. Take that back. It definitely wasn't Morocco, and they didn't play in the Copa either. So yes, so Jeremy was. Do you want to go ahead and get the first one out of the way?
I'll do it when
gonna
we
make
come
them
back
for
because
us?
I'm going to make
Okay.
it because I got to spit this mint out.
Oh, wait, are we letting Jeremy make it? I thought Griffin had to
I guess
dress
I can
the
make
dogs.
it. Yeah, I can. Well,
I
I
would-
thought-
hey, look, if you
I mean,
put
we're sitting right here. We
if you put too much mayo on it, I'm just going to take it off. So it's fine. Like I think there
There's
should be.
gotta be a mayo dog though.
It's a dog with mayo on it.
yeah,
like
but we gotta make it.
as
look
I
like
said, it's not a jizzy, it's a glizzy.
Well, wait a second. Now we
No,
gotta
it
figure
is.
out
It is
where
a
did-
jizzy.
Where did the mayo dogs come from?
We don't know.
And we got to make it look like.
And
the
I was
actual
on the
mayo
damn
dog.
phone when you guys asked me to get in this damn thing, which is why I feel like you moved the
You
goalpost
weren't
on me every
listening,
year.
is what you're saying. Jeremy's like, all right, fine, whatever. And he walks in and he's like, why am I at an orgy? I don't understand.
Do you want me to just
when we come back-
smother the hot dog without a bun and mayo and throw it back?
yeah, I did.
Get it all in my beard?
I mean, for for later.
No,
Is that what we should do?
when the show's over, Glenn, I'm
Save
holding
that
Glenn's
for
hand.
later.
My hands are cold.
Takes a bite of the hot dog and we just squirt the mayonnaise into his mouth.
Now wait a second. I'm not opposed to that.
You
either.
might be setting up like an interesting way, like taking the shot where you.
No, came up with a very specific OnlyFans.
Yeah.
That Griffin actually quits the show in 2 weeks. I'm like, oh, did you get a job at a radio station? She's like, no, I'm doing something.
But of the three
else.
of us, I think his OnlyFans could take off.
I think that you're underselling what the value for a very.
Oh, I have
specific-
tremendous value in certain things.
Yeah,
I'm just not a
very
spring chicken like this
specific.
cat. He can bend in certain ways that I can't.
No, that you don't know that.
Well,
you.
You don't
nobody's
know
tried
that.
yet.
All right, when we come back in, Jeremy Conn is going to enjoy his wieners with the white stuff all over them. That's what's going to happen when we come back in. And then we'll put somebody up on the board. There was the Orioles won a baseball game last night. Who knew? We'll do that next. It's a Friday edition of Glenn Clark Radio.
Discover luxury without limits at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland. This April, unlock a world of high fashion delights and exclusive style. Earn entries daily starting April 1st and join our drawing on Friday, April 25th. 19 will win up to $2,000 in cash and free play. And one grand prize winner will take home a curated Versace homeware collection. At Arundel Mills, must be 21. Please play responsibly. For help, visit mdgamblinghelp.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Driving in Maryland? Did you know an Easy Pass from DriveEasyMD.com can save you time and money? Of course you did, because you are a thrifty driver. An antenna reads your Easy Pass transponder and automatically deducts the toll from your Easy Pass account. Learn more at DriveEasyMD.com.
What makes the Costas Inn so special? This is Stan the Fan telling you that it's the people that work for you, cooking and serving. But that menu is also special with a capital S. Soups, salads, the raw bar, pasta dishes, seafood specialties, and entrees like the Costas combos, steaks, chops, ribs, amazingly delicious meatloaf, and all manner of delicious spilling sandwiches, including pit beef and turkey and subs. Of course, the steamed crabs are as good as you can get anywhere, and they serve them 12 months a year. The crab cakes are out of this world. Costas is open 7 days a week for lunch and dinner at 4100 North Point Boulevard, and coming soon, very soon, Costas in Timonium at the OTB Parlor at Timonium Racecourse. We'll get you the opening date real soon.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
Want to improve your golf game or learn to play for the first time? The Baltimore Golf Academy has fun, instructional programs for the beginner golfer to everyday players. The Baltimore Golf Academy can take your game to the next level. Enroll today at baltimore-golfacademy.com.
Whether your focus is luxury and comfort, convenience and technologically advanced connectivity, or sporty performance and aggressive styling, we've got the perfect Highlander for you. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new Highlanders from your local Toyota dealer today.
Coming back in here with Glenn and the other guy, Garrett, whatever his name is. You know who they are.
That's a nice promo.
All right, back in here on GC.
Whatever that guy's name
we
is.
We should have had new ones written for you to record since you're here.
I still want to do my my GCR
are you
theme
gonna
to
do this?
CCR.
Are you gonna do the
I got to
song?
sit down and write it. I got to see which CCR song I want to do.
By the way, what is he doing?
I don't. He didn't even make them. I
He
don't know.
didn't
What
make 'em?
he microwaves my wieners and then they're getting cold.
Like, I don't know what the hell's going on.
You know what's worse than a microwave wiener? A cold microwaved wiener.
Like, it doesn't. There's nothing good that comes from that.
Are you gonna feed them to me too?
I would really like it if he did that. Can you please prepare these so that Jeremy can start eating them? We got a show to do today.
Man, this isn't. Was this in the job description when you took this job? Because this seems kind of messed up.
Oh,
You
this
get
is-
browbeat
thi-
over
this
everything.
Is high end for what the job description involved. I believe Fluffer was in there. Actually,
Can I also say I appreciate the fact that you bought the cheapest bread possible?
100%.
Yeah, it's like you didn't even get me like a potato bread or a real
nothing,
roll.
Nothing but what's available.
Yeah, as soon as he opens it up, it falls apart. It's like it's okay. The ones on top are stale?
Yeah, correct.
Jesus.
Actually, they keep this in the house. This is from the Bass house.
Are these kosher?
There you go. There you go. It was just Passover recently.
I mean, I didn't care, but it's
It
okay.
is. That's the way. Jeremy is here. He is paying off his debt from last summer's soccer bets. And
You make it seem like he's paying off his debt from high school.
Society.
It's been so long.
His debt to society. That's the way that we're doing it.
Some wet wieners.
Okay, so we've got now we need to put some mayonnaise on him, and we need to get a money shot. That's what this is.
He
all
wants to
about,
squirt it right in the mouth?
Getting the money shot. I wouldn't mind if you did that.
So who is going up on the board?
Of
Is
course,
it
Cade Povich is going up on the board from last night.
really?
They scored 2 runs. I mean, for God's sake.
But the 2 runs were pretty awesome. That's a lot of mayo in there, buddy.
I feel like do we need more? Or?
More. The more you put on, I'm scraping off. I'm telling you, I'm eating it with mayo, but I am not eating a jizzy.
This guy.
Without getting paid for it.
I don't think he's a sportsman. I don't think.
A sportsman. You tell me the other guy from my station, not named Tim Barbalace, that's going to show up and do this.
From your station?
Yeah.
No one.
Yeah,
No
see?
one. Yeah, that's a good point. But in fairness, I don't really know who else I'd even invite.
Who would you want?
I don't know who else I'd even invite to be a part of it, to be honest. No disrespect to any of them.
No, it's just.
I don't think that's the way that it would go.
So, like.
You say that actually, Forrester would.
Can I? Oh, yep.
Not only would Forrester do it, he would actually tell us later that he enjoyed it. He's a weirdo. What was the thing recently that he actually genuinely enjoyed that we did?
He was acting like he liked the pepper.
Pepper sandwich?
The Richard Petty sandwich.
Are you? That's good. That's perfect. Here, we'll take some of this
mayo
and just
pepper.
Here, look. You mayonnaise both of them up. You got enough mayonnaise on the one.
All right.
Ew.
Ready? 4.
Do you want one?
4. Yeah. All right. 4 mayo dogs. Take a picture, Griffin, of the mayo dogs before, and then get one.
Here, I'll put them all on the same plate.
Try to get a picture too of the mayo all over the side of Jeremy's mouth. Yeah. There we go. Look at that. That looks beautiful.
All right, where's the trash can for me to throw up in case it happens?
It's right there.
Yeah,
I'll take care of that for you.
I just know. Look, it's radio, so I don't want to make a mess here.
I want there to be theater. That's what I want. I want you to.
And this is why I don't want to eat things, because if it causes me to throw up, I won't eat the rest of the day.
Were you planning on going to a nice dinner tonight? You had a nice.
No, you know what?
Were you taking my wife out for dinner tonight for her birthday?
No, I took her out last night.
Oh, thank God.
You were watching the draft. We had a great time.
Yeah, where'd you go?
Yeah, took her out for a nice seafood dinner. And now I'm never going to call her again.
That's unbelievable.
No, so I have acupuncture after this, and then I have to go through another in-depth sleep study.
Oh God!
And they had a cancellation.
What's wrong with you?
Everything, dude. I haven't slept more than 3 consecutive hours in 6 months. So I had a CPAP. I can't do it. So now I got to go to my doctor. I had this funny thing. So there was a cancellation. So now I got to see my primary doctor so I can go do this and just get cleared. Like, he's just got to send in paperwork, blood, all that stuff. So he can't get me in. He's too busy. So now I have to see a different doctor, to which I asked, and this seems like a Larry David thing, am I cheating on my doctor that I've had for 10 years? Like, do I tell him it's not him, it's me?
It's a fair question.
Yeah.
I don't know the answer.
Do I even tell him that I saw somebody else? Because he's going to see my chart and know that I cheated on him.
Hey, what's going on over here?
So basically what's happening is I do this today, and then they can get me in May 9th, which is 2 weeks from now, and they're going to knock me out and watch me sleep. I mean, we're charging.
Are you sure this is a doctor?
$15 an hour.
Are you certain this is actually?
God,
a doctor?
I hate mayo, so this is going to be.
I
interesting.
can't wait for this. All right, Mayo Dog number 1 for Jeremy Conn.
Make sure you want to write his.
Look at that! Oh, just took the whole thing. Could you have done a better job of deep throating that for us, please, for the sake of?
I can't get much more in.
That's not what I heard. That's not. You think I don't know who you went to high school with?
It's probably true.
I've spoken to many of them. How's that, Mayo Dog?
You're doing a good job.
You thinking about change?
Hold on.
What are your preferred? Already?
No,
already.
Let me swallow so I can talk.
Do you need a cup of water, or is the Celsius good?
I'm going to need a water.
Since when did you start swallowing? Since when?
When I was 4.
And why haven't you called me?
Since my uncle went to prison.
Okay, Kanye.
By the way, did you see my picture of him?
I did.
It sucked it, and it's his face on.
I don't really want to give him any attention, but
yeah, I saw somebody post on it real quick. I saw somebody post about Kanye saying, "This guy he's struggling, he's hurting. You guys should have more compassion for him." He's talking about being a Nazi. I have no compassion for that jackass at all.
Going to be a no from me, dog.
So, what were you asking me again? Like, what do I normally put on a hot dog?
Yeah, what are your preferred hot dog condiments?
I'll eat it plain or with relish. Like, I don't mind ketchup.
You eat plain hot dogs?
Mm-hmm. If they're at the stadium, yeah. Not at home.
Okay.
But like, I like the.
You don't use mustard?
If I have a hot dog, my preferred thing is relish. And that's it.
just relish.
And I like a Chicago dog too.
This is wild to me.
Yeah, I like putting ketchup on things. I just think that's for children.
No, I agree.
Would you
I'm
like the
not a
Seattle
ketchup
dog?
person.
I don't
although-
dislike mustard. It's just not my go-to.
So I would say for hot dogs, I'd be willing to put ketchup on with mustard, but I would never eat. There's never a time I'm going to eat something with just ketchup.
Yeah.
That's nonsense.
I don't
That
know when it
is-
happened to me in life, but
That's
it's
for
too
children.
sweet for
Yeah,
me.
it's just sugar. That's all it is. It's just for children. French's made that pickle mustard, and now life is good. I don't eat anything else.
Yeah.
But I can't imagine a hot dog without mustard. That's crazy to me.
Really?
What are you on burgers? What's your go-to for a burger?
This is funny too because like I don't mind eating a burger plain, and that's from being a picky.
Are you a terrorist?
No. When I was a kid, I was very picky. So like I actually like the way it tastes without anything on it. But usually for me, if I'm making a burger, I'm gonna saute onions and mushrooms and just put that on the cheese and burger.
Okay, well, I can't hate on that.
But like
Although, you know what? I don't eat mushrooms.
Really?
It's not a fear. It's not anything like. I just genuinely don't like the texture of mushrooms.
That was we went to Tersigals, my wife and I. I love that place. It was a
Like, if
taste.
we go to a wedding and like they serving chicken marsala, I'm not gonna not.
Yeah, I love
eat.
mushrooms.
Yeah.
But when we went to Tersigals, it was a tasting menu. So obviously you got all these different things that are being brought out to you. One of them was escargot, and I'm like, all right, I'll try it. And it just tasted like a bad mushroom that had been cooked too long, you know?
I've
and
tried it.
the flavor's fine. It's just a matter of do you like the way snails
Right.
taste? And the consistency for me wasn't great.
Yeah, I don't care for them.
But everything else we had was amazing.
I don't care for them whatsoever. I'm barbecue sauce is my preferred condiment for a burger. Yeah, get a little bit of that. I would really like if there was mayo just hanging on. Oh, that's good. Did you get that? Did you get it? Sort of hanging on the corner of his lip. Yeah, that's naughty. Oh, that's naughty. I enjoy that.
Look, it's in my beard.
He wiped it off with the napkin.
It's in my beard.
I would have licked that off. Wait, what? What?
That's what he said.
What did I just say? All right, yeah. Cade Povich, 6 2/3, 1 run, 4 hits, 1 walk for the Orioles. A miracle of a start. Miracle goes up on the board. Cade Povich, man of the match for last night. Man of the match brought to you.
You needed it with Mackenzie Gore.
Mackenzie Gore was phenomenal, although, again, anybody looks phenomenal right now against the Orioles, to be fair. But, yes, Mackenzie Gore. Did you know that K was capitalized in Mackenzie Gore? Did you know that?
Are we being serious?
Yeah.
Straight shoot.
It is.
So his name is like
M-A-C,
Mackenzie?
yes, Mackenzie Gore. And I don't know, and I'd like to get to the bottom of whether that's like he and his high school buddies were sitting around one day and like, dude, you're a pitcher. You should capitalize the K.
Now I'm digging it a little bit more.
I don't know if that's the story or not. If it is,
let's just run with it. Let's
That's
just
what
make
I'm
it
saying.
up.
If it is, it's amazing. If it's not, he should change that to the story.
Like Rob Schneider picks up transient men down to
yeah,
you
exactly,
get what I'm saying.
Exactly like that. Did you know whenever I sign something, this is very embarrassing, I sign it with a lowercase g and capital L. And then my last name with a lowercase c and capital L afterwards. So my signature looks like.
Why is that?
So it's
just a weirdo,
the
right?
dumbest story you're ever going to hear. So
Oh.
it looks like that. That's my signature, right? Lowercase g, capital L.
Hold on. I'm
All
blind.
right. Yeah. See?
I like it.
All right. The reason I do that, I was an obsessed LL Cool J fan when I was a young man.
Oh.
Straight shoot.
Did you ever try to get your lips to
Straight-
glisten like his?
I didn't try to do that. I did not attempt that. But something like a phenomenon.
Yeah.
Something like a phenomenon.
I loved LL.
I was obsessed.
Oh, so here's
with
what's.
LL Cool J.
Let me add to that because when I was in high school, I was graduating in 1997. Our basketball team, the varsity team, had to practice after the girls, after the JV. So we practiced 6 to 8 at night.
Okay.
I went to Hartford Tech, which was about, 35 minutes from my house. So there's no way that somebody's letting me go home and then bringing me back to practice and then going back and picking me up. So I'm staying at the school. So I had like 4 CDs just on a loop.
Okay.
And one of them was LL Cool J's greatest hits. So like Around the Way Girl and all of those. It just
doing it. Which LL Cool J ruled.
Yeah.
Plus he looked he just looked.
He
like
looked like a cool guy,
right? And like
up until that,
so-
what was the movie when he killed the shark? And I'm just like, he stabbed it in the eye.
Yeah, I still stand by that movie. Actually, I still
Busta
stand
Rhymes
by
beat
it.
up
Was
Michael
it
Myers.
Deep Blue Sea? Was that what
Yes.
it's called? I
Yes.
love that movie. Headsprung. They call me Big LA, a big silly. I love LL Cool J. So yes, as a young man, I decided to make my signature two capital L's in honor of LL Cool J. And then I got to a point in adulthood where I said, well, I should probably stop doing that. Like I should probably be. And then I realized I didn't know how to make a cursive G anymore, because why would anyone know how to do anything
Nobody
in cursive
does.
at this point, right? Like my wife was
I don't like the
freaking-
cursive G. I just do a normal G whenever I sign something, and then
Okay.
the rest is cursive.
So wait, so you
I don't even sign
you
a G.
print a G.
I print the G and then I
And then
cursive
you
everything
sign the
else,
rest.
because I don't like the way the cursive
That's
G looks.
really weird. That's a really weird. way to
Weirder
do it.
than doing 2 L's and
No,
2 capital
it's for
L's.
LL Cool J. It's not weird. It's cool.
Did I
A-hole.
Did I ever tell you my
What does LL Cool J stand for?
Ladies love Cool
Like,
James?
I was trying to give it to him.
Ladies love
Cool Jeremy.
Yeah.
Ladies love Cool
I
J.
literally did that.
Did
I
you?
did that, and now it's stuck with
LL Cool G? Is that
Yeah, correct. I'm stuck with it for the rest of my life because I don't know how to sign an uppercase.
What's your
G.
favorite LL song?
That's really. I mean, it would be hard to be pressed to say it's. I don't know. This is gonna sound so dumb. I had a great relationship with my dad. I still do. He's one of the greatest men I've ever known. I never had a problem with my dad.
I have a terrible relationship with your dad.
Right.
Guy never
Oh, yeah.
calls
I
me.
know, he never calls.
Never
I
never
understand.
wishes me happy birthday.
And yet, Father by LL Cool J.
Really?
Which I have no association with whatsoever.
I always
was a song that I loved.
First off, the song with Boys to Men is just.
Oh yeah, that's a winner. Yeah, that's a winner.
And I was surprised. So I have a black friend that knows nothing about hip hop.
Mm-hmm.
So when we went to trivia, everybody would look at me and my other white friend like, "Hey, do you guys
have
know
to be
this?"
the hip hop guys, yeah.
But he knows all the words to that song, and he did it at karaoke one night. And
Oh,
we're
that's
like,
dope.
We went, "Who is that?"
Yeah, right.
That's not
You're
our buddy.
Yeah, right. Why do you never help us when? it
And
comes to
the
hip-hop
other one that
questions?
I love is "I Need Love."
I mean, I need love. Oh God. I need love. I need. Oh my God. If it's not, I'm trying to think of what else. I really did love that whole Phenomenon
Phenomenon was
record.
awesome.
It was. Oh my God. I remember sitting my buddy Brandon.
The clap
in
during
basement.
doing it.
Yep.
And the echo.
Yeah. All in, and I'm stuck. With
I
that
had
now
sex
for
at
the
the
rest of my
first
life.
20 seconds of that song.
I don't believe you. You didn't make it 20 seconds.
Well, I
Go
got
on.
undressed first.
All right, fair. Yeah, I guess I didn't think about when it starts counting as sex. That's a good point. I hadn't considered that.
Yikes.
My fault. So
Yeah.
yeah, that math maybe does.
I wasn't big on stamina.
Jeremy's here. So you're one down.
Yeah.
One down, 3 to go
Good job.
on the Mayo Dog Challenge.
Yeah, I don't like it.
No, you haven't been converted.
I'm just the hard part is again, I'm not the least bit hungry, and you're trying to
That
force
is-
yourself to
I
eat.
don't eat during the day at all. At all. I don't eat during the day.
You a
Legitimate.
vampire?
I hadn't thought about that possibility, but I guess now I have to consider it.
By the way, I saw Sinners. It's my favorite movie
Oh,
I've
I
seen in the
haven't
past
seen it
couple
yet.
years.
I haven't seen it yet.
And I feel like I'm hyping it up too much for someone that they're going to go, hey, it wasn't that. I saw a buddy that said it wasn't that good. I didn't understand it. There's a scene that I retweeted that I think
Okay.
you should watch. It doesn't ruin anything in the movie, but the guy's playing a guitar, and there's some things surrounding that at this nightclub that they're at. And it kind of takes you through the history of like different dance. There were African dancers. There were people twerking on the floor. So it takes you through like dancing through the time and all these memories. And then there's an Asian lady that comes in, and then you see like a geisha and a dancer. It's just a really cool scene that you're going, why are they doing this? And then after when it was done, you're like, I really like that.
That's
but
cool.
the storyline, it's original. It's awesome.
All right.
Plus Haley Steinfeld.
I
Ugh.
mean, look, God love you, Josh.
She says some filthy stuff in that. And
It's one of those films that, like, at a different place in my life, I would have seen on Thursday night at midnight. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, it would have been a priority for me. But now
I see movies all the time by myself in the afternoons.
It's probably cheap, yeah.
Well, it's not even the price.
no,
it's just
that's
not
when you have
packed
time.
theaters.
It's when you have time.
Yeah.
It's the whole. Do you remember the first time you went to something by yourself in your life? Do you remember? Did you have to get over that?
The bathroom.
Right.
I was
Thank you.
16.
Thank you. Yeah.
My dad didn't have to hold it for me anymore. Is that weird?
You
Is
still,
like-
what I like about Jeremy, he still, when he goes to the bathroom to this day, pulls the pants all the way down. I do appreciate.
I have done that at
I've done it.
at like a McDonald's. Have you ever run into the person that does it and that's just how they pee?
No, I have not.
Yeah, because you got to be careful because, to be fair, and I'm not trying to be rude, so I hope nobody takes. Sometimes it can be someone of special needs that you don't realize that's just how they
You don't
pee.
wanna- yeah, right.
But I saw a dude, and I'm like, no, what is that? Did somebody pay you to do that?
I would do it like if I was somewhere with the boys and we were all going, like we'd all been drinking or somewhere, we'd stumble into a, bodega bathroom or something like
Mhm.
that. I would absolutely just pull the pants all the way down, stand there with the boy. Hey guys, how's it going? Everything good?
I always like walking in. You know the bathrooms at the radio station. There's one urinal and there's 3 toilets. And so when I walk in, if somebody's using the urinal, I say, do you mind moving over? And I tap them on the shoulder. And then the looks you get.
That's a good bit.
The looks you get from
that's
is
a good bit.
I did that to Kramer from Mix 6'5". I thought he was going to invite me. Hey, come on in.
Let's share.
Yeah.
It's like
you hold mine, I'll hold yours.
It's the trough at the old drive-in movie theater, right? Like, we'll be good here. Do you, when you're going in, and because the thing about radio is you only have a certain amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're walking in knowing you're about to blow up a toilet as you enjoy your hot dog, and somebody else is in there, like just to pee, do you announce to them like, hey, man, don't worry, I'm just going to be back here blowing up? I do that all the time.
No.
I get the awkwardness out of the way. Like, hey, what's going on, man? I'm going to be back in here blowing up this toilet. Don't worry about me.
No, I'm the church mouse when I'm pooping. You don't know I'm back there. It's like Mission Impossible.
I'm actually worried about you now. It sort of explains some of your...
I'm a slow chewer, too.
Yeah, apparently. But that's because you're eating them half a dog at a time.
I can't chew. Well, no. Well, that kind of. The first one I did.
Yeah. That looks like about half a dog.
No, it was just a tip.
All right. Just for a second. Just see how it feels.
No, that's what
does it feel?
Rob and Ed make fun of me because if I'm ever late coming back from a break, I'm pooping. Somebody walked in the bathroom.
Oh, and you're...
And I...
Are you living in your shame? Is that what's going on there?
It's not like I'm not even shameful about it. It's just I prefer to poop alone. I
know I prefer, but this is the problem with radio is you don't have that luxury.
Like I'm not a guy that typically uses an airport bathroom unless I have to, and I'm not poop break or whatever.
Have you seen these new BWI bathrooms? They got the executive washrooms now going. They've got
you can wash your ass in the sink.
Yeah, exactly right. No, they have full length doors. Not like they have like private stalls now.
Oh, wow.
The door goes from ceiling to floor. So, it's a game changer. It's a game changer for airport.
I like reaching under the thing and just saying hi to someone.
Hello. You probably missed that, unfortunately. All right, you feeling okay? You're not going to puke?
I don't think I'm going to. You know what? I don't think the mayo's actually going to cause me to puke. I think it might be the amount of hot dogs. I could eat 4 hot dogs in my sleep. I'm just not hungry. And that's the medicine.
I can't decide if I want you to puke or not. Like, it'd be good for radio. Like,
it wouldn't be good for me.
That. I know, and I do love you, so I'm thinking about that.
I have actually torn stomach muscles throwing up. And when I say torn, like you strain your stomach from retching.
We got norovirus in December, everybody in my house. And when I tell you, I've never experienced.
Did you get it for the PlayStation or the Xbox? Which one?
It was great. Right?
We got it.
You're walking around as zombies.
Glenn said we got it like they went to the stores. Like, you guys got neurovirus in?
I don't know how I didn't catch it from you.
My wife, got it first, right? And she's trying to explain to me. She's like, it's hell. And I'm just like, I'm at the gym. I'm like, I'm doing fine. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, out of nowhere, I say, oh, dear God. And I go downstairs at the gym. They have, I shouldn't say this. They have those handicap bathrooms, and I just go into one of those.
On top of a handicapped person?
Yeah.
There was somebody in there, and you just had to go. It didn't matter?
Man, I got the norovirus deal. I'm handicapped now, too. I go in there. I start running the shower, and I just say, whatever's about to come out of me, I'm going to be in here.
I get it, though.
Be in here.
So when I got sick, which I don't know, what did you have with the neurovirus? What was the main issue?
The puking. The puking was the worst part of it because you puke everything out, and then you're still puking.
No. So then I just got the flu then. I didn't have neurovirus.
Puking up stomach acids.
But I couldn't eat for 3 days. I didn't eat for 3 days, and I lost 13 pounds.
Yeah, that ain't great.
It's a great diet if you can do it.
Go sign up for that. Yeah, it was awful. That part where you're just retching. You have no physical strength whatsoever. You're zapped, and you're still you're like, okay, I think I can drink some water. I think I could stand up and go drink some water. And the moment you stand up,
I thought my wife was going to call an ambulance.
Oh, God.
When she heard me throwing up, she wanted to take me to the hospital. I said, "No, I'm fine."
Our house sounded like a morgue. Yeah. I mean, it was hell. It was hell. What?
John, you want one of these mayonnaise dogs?
Some mayonnaise dogs. Get you a mayonnaise dog. We're going to find out that John Colson. No, you can't.
He can have one of those. I can share.
Got to eat all
Go ahead, grab one of those.
Jeremy's
Just don't grab the one I bit.
4 of them. He's got to eat all 4 of them. But Griffin will make one for you. He'll happily make
in the microwave, John.
Another mayo dog. You like mayonnaise on your dogs, right?
I put mayonnaise on my.
Oh, you psychopath! What's wrong with you?
Yeah,
what is wrong with you?
You might be a communist, man. I'm not sure.
What the hell? Do you hate America?
Self-respecting Russian.
God.
Who puts eggs and vinegar on their hot dog, for crying out loud?
Jesus, psycho. This guy.
Potato chips and mayo?
Oh,
you poor thing. Where did you grow
you know
up?
We were just asking who's the whitest person you know. I just found out who the whitest person I know is. This man.
Yeah.
This man is the picture of whiteness right
Oof.
there.
Oof.
Mayo on his potato chips. Get out of here.
Mayo-flavored potato chips. I can see it now, not
Jeremy-
selling at stores.
Jeremy Conn is in studio with us this morning. He is enjoying his Mayo Dogs. We are still reacting to both an Orioles win and, of course, round 1 of the NFL Draft. And the Ravens did, with the 27th pick in the NFL Draft, select Malaki Starks out of Georgia. Our next guest knows Malaki Starks very well because he was – no, you can't do that.
You got it. It's fine.
No, Jeremy's got to eat
come
all
on.
4. It's a bet.
Hold on.
We would have made one for you.
I just put one together. Now
That's
I got
not
2 left.
4. God. That's unbelievable. I don't know
Now
how I
you,
feel
you know you
about
have to
that.
eat an entire another
That's not
dog.
true.
Yes.
Poor Coach Cathcart sitting there like, what are they doing? What am I
You got a
signing
guest
myself
on
for?
hold and you're letting me do this?
So, yes, Malaki Starks goes 27th overall to the Baltimore Ravens. This man was Malaki Starks' high school coach back at Jefferson down in Georgia. It is a pleasure to welcome into the program this morning Coach Gene Cathcart, who is with us here on GCR. Coach, it's Glenn, Jeremy Conn here in Baltimore. It's great to chat with you. Thank you so much for taking some time for us.
Oh, thank you guys. Appreciate it. This is an honor, and easy to brag on, easy to talk about this young man.
Before we get to him, the football player, what you're just bringing up, everything that everyone has told us about Malaki Starks, the human being. Let me start. When you first met him, how much of his story did you know, what he and his family had been through, and how quickly did you realize how special of a person he was?
Well, that's a great question. Immediately, obviously, he kind of was growing up in a small town in Georgia, was a legend athletically in the town. And so when you're the football coach, you're very well aware of what kind of athlete he is. And he's such a versatile athlete. I'm sure y'all are aware. He, not only did he take us to the state championship in football, or the runner-up championship in football, he took us in track, won a state championship under him, and also he actually took our basketball team to the 4A state championship game. So,
Overachiever.
he makes everybody around him so much better. It's one of those rare things when you're speaking to a guy like a high school coach. I can give you all the high school cliches, but when your best player is also your best teammate, is also your best person, you're destined for great things. And I had a local writer remind me this morning that when Malaki was in 8th grade, I actually told him in 2025, you'll probably be, or 25 or 26, you'll be coming back when he signs somewhere, when he gets drafted.
That's cool.
And he had made a note of that. So, but unbelievable family. One thing I have learned is, we take our football in the South pretty seriously, as you guys know, and, the due diligence that the college recruiters do and the NFL folks is, they don't just talk to the head coach and the guidance counselor or what have you, the principal. They talk to custodians. They talk to elementary school teachers and administrators. And, the number of folks commenting to me about I've never had such a flawless character and intangible reference deal on a young man speaks volumes about what his parents did and the kind of people, the whole family, that they are.
Hey, Coach, we knew he was going to be a good player because he's the only University of Georgia guy without any traffic violations, no speeding tickets, no drag racing. No, how cool is it for how cool is it for you to see? And again, being a 4A school in Georgia, I don't know how many players that you've sent off to D1 or even the pros, but seeing this come to fruition, one of your guys actually make it to that level, it's got to be really kind of cool for you.
Well, it is, and I've been blessed to be some good places and actually coach some college ball and things. But to have in this day, you guys, once you settle your arguments on your chips and your mayo and stuff, y'all know as well as I do. There's just so many stories. I mean, we're hard pressed for those kind of, natural Roy Hobbs type of stories. There's baggage and there's skeletons in everything. It seems like we look in. Kids go to multiple high schools. They have signing days in middle school now. They transfer at the first sign of adversity in high school or college, and they're not willing to persevere. They're not willing to do the things that we admire in our athletes and things like that. Well, this guy is. This guy is everything positive that you guys and I, where we find our love of sport, it's all embodied in this young man. I can tell you that, whatever he accomplishes athletically, he will always be one of my personal favorites. Not for that, but just the kind of teammate, leader, genuinely good-hearted person he was. Just a couple quick asides. We had a young man that you guys may have heard of named Devon Gales, and Devon had been paralyzed covering a kick for Southern University in Sanford Stadium a few years back. And he moved into our neighborhood. The University of Georgia actually helped him with some housing and stuff. And to make a long story short, Devon became a coach. He became kind of a surrogate coach on our program, handicap, wheelchair, and everything. And to be honest with you, I knew we had good kids. But to watch Malaki and those other guys and how they basically took Devon in, they would carry him at times when they had to carry him. A lot of outdated and grandfathered in stadiums just aren't all that handicap accessible and stuff you never really think about. But, there's just a genuine and a purity to the young man. One other aside, I was, we on Saturdays after church would watch film and everything like that. And I hate to sound like high school Harry, a coach, but we ended up having, I had a relative who was having a hard time with addiction and was in an addiction center, and I had to go to South Carolina. I felt like, and I hate to say what I'm about to say, but I picked one of those weeks that we had an easier game. You can do the whole, the Mike Ditka, all that
yeah,
stuff.
right.
But,
you knew.
And so I met with the team, and then I kind of snuck out when they started film. Well, Malaki was a 10th grader. And so he asked our assistant head coach, he said, is everything okay with Coach Cathcart? Everything all right? And, the coach was kind of being protective of me and privacy and stuff. And he said, no, he had to go check on a relative. Well, Malaki came back up and said, is the relative okay? And said, yeah, the relative's just having a hard time. Well, I was in Lower State, South Carolina, where, the men are men and the sheep are scared, and not a lot of cell service. And I ended up getting, after on my way home, I get a voicemail from 10th grade Malaki Starks, and I'm going to get choked up telling you guys this story, but he basically said, Coach, I'm not sure who you're there to see, but if it's your family, they're our family, and film went really good, and I know you're counting on us, because I know you didn't want to miss film, but I promise you we'll be ready this week, and we'll be praying for your relative.
Fans are going to love him.
And, y'all are going to have so many people vouch for all the ball and all the this and the that and the interceptions on TV and the physicality and all that other sort of stuff. And, but man, it's just, for a 10th grader to do that, I'm not sure as a 30-year-old man or a 40-year-old man, that would have been my first instinct. And, he just matured beyond his years, and, you're going to have such a large gathering of Ravens fans in Northeast Georgia, just on what kind of young man he is.
That's really cool. That's a powerful story. Gene Cathcart coached Malaki Starks at Jefferson down in Georgia. He's with us here on GCR. Coach, so now I'm going to ask you to put your coaching hat on, right? Like maybe aside from perhaps the possibility of him like lining up and maybe run a package for him as a quarterback or something like that. But in watching him in college, what were the things that you would say, hey, I still want to see Malaki. He can do this even better. He can still do this better at the NFL level.
Well, one, he is such a harsh critic of himself. He holds himself to such an incredibly high standard. Obviously, from the physicality and the ability to tackle and play the run and cover large SEC NFL type body type tight ends to backs out of the backfield and still have the ability to run with fleet slot receivers and outside receivers if needed. The ability to just be, one of those every down, so rare nowadays. Whatever role obviously they put him in, he will respond to. For us, ironically, again, just the difference in ball and stuff. But he played quarterback for us, and whatever position it was. He was an option quarterback. He played some wide receiver. He played some running back. Obviously, he was a safety. He would roll down at linebacker. He covered if we had to man up a really Division I, 5-star prospect. He would man him up. He could return game. I mean, it's one of those things to where somebody that special that you guys are talking about on the first round of draft day shouldn't be somebody you have to scour film for. It should jump off the film. And as a high school coach, he impacted the game in so many ways. And then at Georgia, same thing. And the NFL game, I know, is a lot more refined in matchups and things. But, man, he can run with he can physical on the biggest receivers he's got to mess with, and he can also run with the fleetest of foot receivers, downfield threats. So, I just really look forward to enjoying watching him play and being able to just pull for him and admire and also be happy for him and his family for all that they've done. One of the underwritten parts about him or undermentioned is a lot of his senior year, he was injured in football, and then a lot of his junior year at Georgia, he was banged up. And to be one of those kids nowadays, he never said, "Coach, I got to stay healthy for college." And I don't think he ever told Coach Smart, "Coach, I gotta save myself for the NFL." He is about where he's going to play where his feet are. He's going to be where his heart is. He's going to help that locker room, which I know Coach Harbaugh is one of the most respected coaches in anywhere. But it's just going to be fun to watch. It's going to be fun to watch and just sit back and admire. And like I said, I actually have, Amazon last night, right after it was announced, my family's all geared up. We've got our Ravens stuff.
I love that. Now, how do you think he best fits? Is the best way to use Malaki is to sort of not have him in a position and to just say, you go do this now, you go impact every level, or is the best way to use him to have him playing like back deep?
Well, I think the one thing about him, from the quarterback stuff when he was younger and the playing so many different positions and the being kind of the next level defensive signal caller for Kirby and them at Georgia, I think one thing is just schematically to put him in a position to where he's able to he's going to study that thing and know that thing, and he's academically so gifted. He's going to be wise beyond his years as a young player schematically. And so, I think what he does is you just can – he's one of those flexible safety guys that are rare because, like I say, he can come up and run support, that extra gap where people do so much shifting in motion, and he's got to account for a run gap that maybe some people may flinch when their safety has to. He's going to do that well. Obviously the only advice I've ever given him is kind of let the game come to him. Be prepared and let the game come to him. So I'm like you. I'm anxious to see. I just know he allows himself the versatility to affect the game, even at that level, at so many different avenues.
We can't wait to see it. We're really excited about it. All right, Coach, before I let you go, what do you think of the idea of putting mayonnaise on a hot dog? How are you feeling about that? Because my buddy Jeremy almost went in and puked. He's paying off a bet where he has to eat these mayonnaise hot dogs.
Well, I think being from down south,
yes.
very few food things surprise me. I'm glad I get to pull for the Ravens now because I grew up an Orioles fan, so I thought y'all would be talking about crab and all this other stuff.
Yeah. This is not a proud moment.
Yeah. But, I promise you this, between me and Malaki and some other deep Southerners I'm talking about, down, where the air is thick, we can probably throw some chitlins and some stuff out there that'll make your mayonnaise kind of sound pretty good to you. So, no, it's awesome that I'm just proud he's going to a place where you guys are, and I know every venue is, but y'all are sports knowledgeable enough to know not only are you getting a really great player, but you're getting all the intangible boxes have been checked, and for y'all to appreciate that, I really appreciate that as his high school coach.
We are really excited about getting him in here and what Malaki Starks is going to bring to the Baltimore Ravens. Coach Gene Cathcart, we really appreciate you taking the time for us this morning, man. Thanks so much. Congratulations to you, and can't wait to see you here at a game in the fall.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Well, thank you, and really appreciate it, and appreciate y'all having me on.
Absolutely. Gene Cathcart, who was Malaki Starks' high school coach. with us this morning here on GCR. You seem like you're slowing down a little bit.
Well, I'm not hungry, so it's like I'm.
Yeah, it seems like
I'm
a
trying
struggle.
to take some
Don't.
breathers.
What do you?
Oh my God! Take some off of my dog and
He's
put it on
really making his own mayonnaise hot dog after he consumed half of one of Jeremy's.
Hey, John, let's gently touch tips.
Gently, yeah. You want a Cheers hot dog?
Gently touch
Yeah,
tips.
yeah. There you go. What the hell is wrong?
It's grilled.
What is wrong with you?
You grilled it?
Oh, you.
Oh.
Where did you? Oh,
in
you
the toaster?
broiled it. You broiled it. Let's
Yeah,
get
my
outta
wieners
here.
were only microwaved.
I love microwave hot dogs for the record. Like, oh.
So what I tried to do is like take a bigger bite and then take some water and just shove it down. You know, shovel
how'd
it.
How'd that go?
That almost came back up.
Yeah, I
so
noticed.
That's what happened, and then I had to leave the studio because I was
Yeah.
going to start coughing.
I was really worried about what was going on there. If that was just the end.
By the way, who finds the highest? Did the Pop Warner coach not? Was he not eligible to come?
If I could have tracked him down, we would have tracked him down.
No, I'm not.
right?
And
Like,
this
we
isn't
would've-
me. I'm not busting your chops. I think that's an awesome get. Like if he'd have told us that nobody went to his birthday party, I'd have been like, we shouldn't have drafted
Yeah, that's
the
a
guy.
great point, right? Everybody knows that. That's how
Yeah.
you judge these things. That's
No, but
the
I
way
think
it
that
works.
he didn't like my Georgia joke, but that's okay.
He just wanted to tell you everything we asked. He's going to tell you how happy he was.
It's
I'm just so
awesome though.
happy.
Like he.
No, I get it. It's a really cool moment. It's a really cool moment. You're just looking for any sort of perspective you can get.
Yeah, I've
and
only sent
appreciate.
one of the kids I coached to prison. That's where he went.
That's
So-
how that works.
Yeah,
out
so
for you. Now, hang on. Did the prison call you? Did they give him a
Yeah,
reference?
yeah.
So they were like, "Hey, what are we getting in Joey JoJo?
Are you getting an aggressive player? Are we talking about? Is this? Are they playing? Is this the Gridiron Gang or what is it?
What the hell is the guy? What the hell is the quarterback's name in Longest Yard? Paul Crew. Yeah, Paul Crew. He's exactly what it was.
No, he's more of a running back.
Okay. That's what you're getting.
Oh.
No, I appreciate Gene Cathcart taking the time for us this morning.
No, but that's one of the things that, like, in just listening to you for years and even coming on the show, like, you go out of your way and find some really good guests that I think are very intriguing to hear what they have to say about certain topics.
I'm not trying to knock anyone at all when I say this. I think sometimes in radio we end up very formulaic. Like, here are the three people that we always bring on, and we're
have the
always,
same guys on every
we're
show.
Always
at
going to
this
bring
time.
them on, and I'm not. I obviously bring you on every Monday. It's not like I don't do some of that.
No, sometimes you give me the Matt
Right.
Damon treatment and
That's
tell me I
true,
don't have time.
say. I thought you ment that I'm effing Ben Affleck.
Oh,
I
is
thought
that-
that's what you were
that
trying
too.
to say.
By the way, I just saw a post. I want you to finish your point. I saw a post online where it was talking about Ben Affleck, and it said star of Flash, and I went, he was Batman. He was in something bigger than a cameo in Flash. Did AI write this article?
It's a fair point.
They said Ben
was what they
Affleck
went
from
with.
The Flash, and I'm going, what was he in there for, 10
wish-
minutes?
I wish they would have said Mallrats. That would have been amazing if they had gone with that.
Oh, man.
No, I've always said that I think that it's good to have different voices and different people that you've never heard from before. I remember before Ben was involved with the broadcasts, I just really liked Ben, right? And I invited him on with Drew and I one morning just because I think I saw him tweet or he was on Facebook or something about this is before he was doing the games. And our friend Paul Kapelke comes walking into the studio like,
"Oh, are you trying to get on the show?"
No, he said, God, that was refreshing. It was just different voice. It was somebody, and you know how Ben is, because Ben will, like, he sounds like a little bit of Baptist preacher sometimes.
Yeah.
And I just remember how that like, of all things, that impacted me. Like, yeah, maybe we sometimes get somebody different, just a different voice than the same people that you always hear.
And I hope you're not. It's not. I'm not busting chops. I think it's awesome. Like, I'm too lazy to do that. I don't. Or do you make Griffin call him? Who calls him?
I send Griffin all the information. I would say 85% of the time it's. You know, that's I'm always the one that tracks.
I don't
people
know why
down.
you explain. This should be 100% of the time. Do you know who you're working with?
And
Glenn
I send
effing Clark.
I send to Griffin. I'm like, here's a list of people that I think would make for good. I sent Griffin between last night and this morning 30 options of people that I think we should try to track down to talk about Malaki Starks.
That's incredible.
And that's because that's what it takes.
Yeah,
like, that's the way that it works.
It's kind of funny because like I think our minds work the same, but also different. And like, I'm looking for different topics. I'm looking for fun things to talk about or things that I think I can make funny or entertaining. And at the same extent too, like guests, because there's this big thing in radio where it's like either callers, benchmarks. That's like your segments.
Yep.
Like I have
Yep,
World
you
of
do
Stupid.
every day. Yep.
I mean, you have your own too, and then it's guest. And they were paying this Oh, God, what the hell was it? A guy that came in, and he was just basically like...
Consultant.
That's
Yes.
the right word.
Yes.
$10,000 to come in, and I swear they paid him in March, and he came in and goes, it's all about guests. You got to get more guests on. Go get guests. Comes in August, nobody's listening to guests. It's all about benchmarks. Do benchmarks. Comes in December, he's like, are you guys taking enough calls? Take calls. And we're going, what the hell is this? Like, there's literally three things.
Like, for the record, it sounds like every radio consultant that's ever. By the way, I've said 1,000,000 times that it's probably time for me to get into that business.
It's
right?
so easy. It's
like,
better than being the weatherman in San Diego.
100%. All you got to do is just walk in and say, hey, have you thought about this? Have you thought about this?
Think outside the box. Of the three things that are in the box, we're going to talk about those.
Yeah, that's the way that it goes. But yeah, so I sent 30 ideas to Griffin last night and this morning of people that we could get on. And we got...
And I decided that he was the only one we needed.
We got two of them.
I love that one of them was Malaki from Children of the Corn.
Correct.
Just because they have the same name.
They got the same name.
Yeah.
You joke.
Malaki.
Do you think that like I literally will go to any reference at all? I said to him, like Donnell Ellerby's an old friend of mine. Call Donnell Ellerby. See if because he's a Georgia guy, he just watched a lot of Georgia football, that he has something to say about Malaki Starks. And if the answer is no, we're not going to be offended. If he's like, dude, I don't really know Malaki Starks. Like, but you might call and find out, like, dude, you don't know. I've actually been training with him. And that's what you're really looking for, is make a connection, find out that there's a deeper connection there, and it's something that's worth doing. So,
Dwayne Starks is his uncle.
Yeah, right? I don't think so.
I'm just making stuff
I don't believe they're related.
This is my go-to of saying
right?
people are related just because they have the same name.
I do that as well.
I just tell everybody. Did you guys know that Donald Glover is Danny Glover's son?
Correct. That's a fact. Everybody knows that.
Not true.
Oh, no? Really?
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm positive.
Are you sure?
And the other one I was using was Max Christie was Doug Christie's kid.
I'm 100% certain that's accurate.
And then I saw on the broadcast, he's like, no, they're not related. He just played for the Lakers. Kind of look like him.
How many do you still have left?
It's like 1.25 probably.
Right. Yeah, well, yeah, it didn't. Yeah, you might have to prepare another half.
No, but I ate that.
You did
not. He stole it. I didn't tell him to take it. I mean, I encouraged.
That son of a bitch. Really
John's ruining the show.
Right? He's ruining the bit.
No, they all still taste bad.
I'm not saying they don't taste bad.
But you act like the last half a hot dog is going to...
You want me to nuke it again? Is that the problem?
No, because then that mayonnaise is going to cook.
Oh, God.
Then I'll have my fried eggs on top.
Oh, God, that sounds awful.
I hate mayonnaise, man.
Is there anything at all that you actually choose to put mayonnaise on?
No, like
when I was a younger man, I would choose for BLTs specifically. I would put mayonnaise on them.
I get everything without mayo.
And then I realized there were better options, like a nice. And I get it. Somebody's gonna say, "Well, there's mayonnaise in an aioli." Like a nice pesto aioli.
Well, that's the other thing. It's a flavored. It's different. It's not that flavor.
Thank you.
I like garlic aioli on certain.
Yes.
It can make it better. I'm just not a plain mayo guy.
These are like the people on the internet that think they're telling you something you don't know. Like the Friday night of the Royal series.
Mm-hmm.
I just said, I'm starting to wonder if maybe the Orioles aren't very good, right? And I had 80 people that immediately tweeted me back, dude, it's 8 games. Like, do you
I think I tweeted you as 8 games.
Correct. I'm like, who are you tweeting? Yeah. Like, do you think this is who we are as a society? I'm very pretty. You're very pretty. Your mother loves you. You know many things. But like, you genuinely believe that you know things that other people don't know. Like that you're actually smarter than other people are on the internet. And by the way, I get it in some cases you are, right? But do you really think you're telling me something I don't? Oh my God, it's only been 8 games? I thought they've been playing for 4 months. Christ.
Don't you love that? I love the gotcha guys because we have so many of those in radio where like.
Well, in betting, you never get any of those.
No.
You never get any of those.
How come you took that team? Like
Just as good as radio consulting, really.
I had a top 5 play. So, like, the other day, I went 5-0 in my leans and, like, 2 and 3 in my top plays, to which somebody emails me and says...
Never went that when I was playing with Jeremy.
Why didn't you make your leans your top plays? Well, if I'd have known all of them would have won beforehand, I would have.
I promise.
Trust me. That's
the way this works.
That's the go-to.
Believe it or not, I don't actually see the future. I just try to, do some deductive reasoning in order to make these picks.
You get so much of it. But you always get you could say something like... what was the other day we were doing, minus the Hall of Famers on the Orioles, put together the best team that you could put together.
Without anybody who's in the Hall of Fame.
So immediately some guy calls in and goes, what about Ripken? It's like, no, he's a Hall of Famer. Well, you guys didn't say that. Yes, we did. Every time we've talked about it.
I did this event at Live Casino last night, and we did draft bingo. And the concept of the game was you had to fill out a bingo card with names of players that were going to get drafted. And when you had 5 in a row of players that had been drafted, you would win. And they explained to me that's what we're doing. And I say, oh, this has a lot of problems.
Oh, if I'm there, I'm filling out the first 5 guys that were going to go.
That's exactly what I said. And they're like, well, yeah, but people won't do it. I'm like, yeah, they will.
You'll have everybody
That's
do
exactly what they'll do. They're like, well, yeah, but we don't really care. We just want to give away a prize. I'm like, okay, and then there's going to be 500 people that are all going to run down and stand on top of me to say I won the moment this happened. I had to rewrite the game a little bit when that
Phone's
occurred.
ringing, dude.
It's Jud Fabian that's calling from the Norfolk Tides.
See,
Yeah,
that's another
top
great
Orioles
guess.
prospect, Jud Fabian.
He's
checking
hitting the
in
hell
this
out of the
morning.
ball.
He's very good. He's a very good baseball
Did you
player.
know, he is Naomi Judge's son?
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Do you want to play the Jud game? Do you
No.
want to do that? Judd Nelson? Huh? Go ahead. You
Are
up?
we going to keep going?
Yeah.
I'll go with
I
the
do
other
this to
Judd,
Griffin all the time.
Ashley.
Ashley? Well, then you didn't say Winona Judd, so I get Winona Judd.
So now we're tied? Are we done?
Oh, no, I'm ahead.
No.
Because you said the first one?
I got 2 of the Judds
No,
already.
did.
You got
said,
one of
you
them,
said
and Judd.
Naomi and Ashley, and I said Winona and Judd Nelson.
It's Judd's not a
Judd.
I like it because it's an
Judd.
unusual.
Oh,
name
no,
to
I
me.
got another one. Oh,
No.
you're in trouble. You're
Judd
in trouble.
Apatow. Is that the one you had?
That wasn't the one I had,
Oh.
so we're going to be tied again. But that's a really good one. Former Michigan State coach Judd Heathcote.
Oh, look at you.
The legend himself.
Oh.
Back to you. You in?
Yeah, I'm
You
going to go.
tapping out?
Nope. I'm going to sit here and think of Judds.
That's what you're going to do.
Yeah.
That's what you have.
What about Mills Lane? He was a Judd.
Yeah, he was a judge. I don't think that's going to count. I don't think that's the way that it's going to work.
All right.
There was a character in a show or in a movie that was named Judd, and I can't come up with who
What
it
about
was.
on Archie? Judhead.
Yeah, I don't think that one's the one. I don't think that one's going to work.
I'm trying.
Oh, you know who I've got? Jud Fabian. I'm the king of the Judds. I actually make Griffin say it every time. Every time I beat him in this game, I
King of the
force him.
Judds? Does
No,
he do
king
that?
of the whatever we're doing. If
Oh,
we're doing
I just thought it was Judge. You guys have done this before?
If we're doing Millers or if we're doing something like that, I force him to say I'm the king of the Millers.
He's been around 20 years longer than me. And he
All right,
typically
that's the
wins,
excuses over
Have
here.
you ever done the guy thing where you sit in a group of people and you just start naming where guys went to college
it's
or
the,
random
it's
players?
The tweet that boys can be happy just naming athletes. And my friend Brandon Linton, who was the booker at Rams Head Live for years, one of my best friends, he and I would sit in his office. We would go to shows at Rams Head Live, and like before the band would come on, we'd just sit up in his office, and we'd realize about 5 minutes in, that's what we were doing. Boys can just be happy naming athletes, and that's all we were doing. Like, dude, remember because he's a Steelers fan. Like, remember Willie Parker going up? I'm like, yeah, and then I would.
I went back and forth with a buddy on where players went to college for basketball, and you would bring up the player to quiz them. So
Yes.
we did this for like 3 weeks,
Yeah.
and neither one of us got someone until I gave him Marcus Thornton, and it made me so happy. He went to LSU.
I was going to say, I don't think I would have gotten Marcus
And
Thornton.
that's the only one anyone got wrong in that entire grouping.
The other Isaiah Thomas.
The little one?
Yeah.
Washington.
Look at this guy.
Yeah.
Look at this guy. You can't get anything past him.
The
Joining us now
the
here.
little one.
Joining us now here on GCR. As we mentioned, he's a hell of a baseball player, and we're checking in, making a trip down to Norfolk, and we welcome into the program one of the Orioles' top prospects. Outfielder Jud Fabian is with us this morning here on GCR. Jud, it's Glenn and Jeremy here in Baltimore. It's great to chat with you, man. Thank you for taking the time for us once again.
Yes, sir. Thank you guys for having me on.
Everything good, man? What's going on in your world?
Nothing much. Everything's good.
Just playing some baseball, playing some ball.
Yeah.
Hey,
see the ball, hit the ball.
Right? The power thing. We let's talk about it, right? Like, we've known it's part of your game. Are you untapping something here in the first month of the season where, like, this might be where it turns from, like, 20 home runs a year to, like, you're going to be a 30 home run guy?
I hope so. I worked pretty hard on the swing this offseason, and, you know, I've had some home run success within the first month, so looking forward to keeping it going the rest of the year.
What's minor league life like? I mean, everybody thinks that you guys are just making millions, living in condos.
Yeah, life is good, right?
I remember when I talked to Caleb Joseph at Bowie, and he told me he was cutting grass in the offseason in Tennessee, which it kind of catches you off guard, but it is a grind in the minors, right?
Yeah, I would say it was more of a grind in past years. The Orioles kind of do a good job of putting us up in apartments and stuff like that.
Okay.
So yeah, we're not living as bad as some people think.
I appreciate that. Jed, I'm an old school. Like, I'm a dinosaur basically at this point, because when I go to stats, like, the first place I still look is like someone's batting average, and I'm sure you would still tell me, hey, yeah, I'd like that to be up a little bit, but then I remember everybody tells me stop looking at that. Look at OPS, and your OPS is outstanding. to start the season, sitting at 860. Where are you between those two things? Like the way that you judge yourself and what you want to work on. Would you say, dude, I'm not pressed about batting average because the goal is to have that OPS?
Yeah, I mean, everyone kind of looks at average, but for me, I want to do what I'm good at, and what I'm good at is, hitting for power, having OPS, taking the walks. So that's something I kind of focus on, is just taking good ABs, putting barrel to ball, and if they don't throw anything in the zone, to take my walks when they come, just to get on base.
Dude, it's a different world for me. It's still going to take me a while to get used to it, but an 860 OPS, that'll play everywhere. Like, that's a number that's going to get you, a multiple All-Stars, maybe a Hall of Fame at some point. Like, that'll be okay if that can continue forever. Judd, what's the hardest you ever hit a ball? Do you know, like, or would you say, hey, this is the farthest I've ever been measured, but I think I've hit some further than that?
Like lengthwise or just off the bat?
Either one. Either like your craziest exit velocity or lengthwise.
I actually just hit one in Omaha, line drive at 112, and that's the hardest I've hit one in pro ball so far.
What does that feel like? Can you explain what that feeling is like when you make that type of contact?
Honestly, you don't really feel it. You hit it so good off the barrel that it kind of just goes off the bat, and you really don't feel it come off the bat because you hit it so well.
I mean, still, when you know, is it as cool as we think it is?
Yeah, it's pretty cool when you hit a ball that hard, and you're like, dang, I know I hit that one hard.
I was really afraid that you're about to undersell that to us. Like, nah, man, like, I don't know.
I've had better.
Right. Give me to the thought on, you mentioned some things that you worked on. I think did I read somewhere that you purposely went through a swing change this offseason?
Yeah, I did spend time in Sarasota this offseason, kind of working with the O staff and kind of working with some other people on, cleaning up the swing path, cleaning up the moves that I had in my swing. So far it's kind of worked out.
Was that easy for you to do? Like, hey, I trust these people, like I'm good, or did it take, like mentally, did it take some, I don't know, I've kind of been doing this for a little while, I'm not sure that I want to mess with it?
Yeah, but at the same time, I knew it would be good for me to kind of go through and kind of dissect my swing and figure out what I need to be better at, and then how to clean up some movements and all that stuff. So kind of when I was talking with the Orioles staff, it was a no-brainer to be down in Sarasota right after the year to kind of go through all those swing changes.
Jud Fabian is with us here on GCR. Jud, I'm about to ask you a really important question because our friend Jeremy's been in studio this morning. He lost a bet, and he had to eat 4 hot dogs covered in mayonnaise. And he's about to take I think that's the appropriate response. He's about to take the final bite.
Can I say the other bad part of this that people aren't going to realize is I'm going to burp this up all day long.
Yeah, that's going to taste like that. That is a fact. Your thoughts about the idea of mayonnaise on a hot dog, Jud?
Sounds pretty terrible to me, honestly. I don't think mayonnaise belong on a hot dog.
I don't think it belongs on anything.
Yeah, many things. I would agree with that.
Yeah.
What's your go-to if you're grilling dogs? What's your go-to way to prepare that hot dog?
Honestly, just I'm a pretty standard guy. Just some ketchup and mustard on a hot dog. And,
I mean, that seems like the correct answer. Like you don't have to.
Yeah, I don't go too crazy on putting toppings on my hot dogs.
I respect that. There's Jeremy just finished his mayo dogs. What is the weirdest? So I would like to think that you guys probably do, like, through the minors. Maybe not at this point. Now that you're not at AAA, but like, have you guys participated in any of these types of shenanigans through the system, and have like forced guys to try something stupid, anything along those lines?
Not that I've been a part of, honestly.
Man.
You've seen some guys put some crazy stuff on their food, like mayonnaise, actually. Like I saw a guy put mayonnaise on his rice.
Wait, what?
Who?
Name names. Name names, Jud. Name names.
I'm not going to name drop, but I've seen that happen in the minor leagues before.
Someone who's still in the Orioles system?
No.
Oh. I was going to
Is
say.
he saying no that he's not telling us, or you saying no he's not in the system anymore? Look at those prospects we traded.
Right? I was about to say that I was about to ask every single guy in the system if they would be willing to name names to find out who it was that was putting mayonnaise on their hot dog. Jed, I remember when we talked, probably when you were at AA, one of the things that you had talked about was cutting down the strikeout numbers, right? Is that still something that you like? I feel like for a lot of power hitters, they say, dude, that's just part of it. Like, I've got to learn to live with that. Like, when we're swinging hard in case we make contact, are you at a place where, like, it's still something that you are very focused on, or have you made greater peace with, like, that's just how the game works when you're swinging and trying to hit the ball really hard, is sometimes you're going to miss?
Yeah, I mean, kind of the talks with the swing changes this offseason was, look, hey, we know that I have power, and we don't want to take that away by changing the swing and hitting the ball not as far, I guess. So I've kind of gone into it like, hey, my swing change is already going to help me with a swing and miss a little bit, and it's going to help me be in a better spot. And if I do swing and miss, it's okay because I do still have the power. So honestly, swing and miss, it's something I would like to cut down on, but it's also I would rather, sacrifice some strikeouts for some home runs.
I get it. I think that's a common thought process. Jud, the feeling of like being ready, right? Like, did you reach a point where you're like, yeah, I if the call came today, I think I'm there, or there's still things that you say, hey, before I get there, I'd still like to do this a little bit longer. Maybe the swing change for like a little bit longer to get comfortable with it, something like that.
Yeah, I think it's everyone's dream to get there as soon as possible. But also I would like to be ready, and I feel like I've done a good job at working hard and being ready for whenever that time comes.
All right, this is good, Chris. Good point, Chris. So what's your weird condiment that you put on something that people give you grief about? Like, what's there? Everybody's got one, right? Like, here's, you know what mine is?
What?
Thanksgiving leftovers. Everybody uses gravy. I put barbecue sauce on my Thanksgiving leftovers.
Really?
Turkey, potatoes. I make a sandwich. I put barbecue sauce.
I don't know if mine's that weird anymore, but I would dip my crab meat in vinegar.
Yeah, that's a common thing, but I feel like that's more of a Virginia, D.C. thing than it is. Like,
I went on a camping trip. Well, maybe I shouldn't start
maybe
the story that
let's
way.
not talk about that.
No,
trip.
but I went on a camping trip and saw people doing it, and then tried it, and I've been doing it.
I was
since.
down in D.C. last weekend, and people were like, "Do you want some vinegar for your crabs?" I'm like, "What kind of psych? What? Who are you? No, just gonna put some. Do you have Jud? Do you have one?
Honestly, I don't. I'm kind of a standard guy. Everything condiment wise, you put on regular stuff. That's what I do.
Jud, you're not that guy that's a super picky eater, are you? Like,
that you're ordering chicken tenders wherever you go?
No, I'm not a super picky eater, but I'm not a crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy put different stuff
I was
on,
waiting
on
for Jud to
food.
say, like, I do all the normal stuff, like ketchup on steak. Like, I just do all the normal stuff that everybody does.
No, I like to eat my steak just how it is.
I appreciate
good seasoning
that.
on the steak
I
and just eat it.
appreciate that. This is the same thing I say to people about. I don't know. Are you a seafood person? Have you become a seafood person since you've been up this way at all?
Yeah. I've been a seafood person my whole life.
Okay, so whenever I go somewhere and I see someone starting to put like getting cocktail or tartar sauce for a crab cake, I want to smack the crab cake out of their hands. I just want to, you do you do not deserve that crab cake.
No, you just need a fork to eat a crab cake.
Thank you, Jud. You're not even from here, and I already like you more than I like people around here. God, if you're putting that stuff, then get a better crab cake. Like, do not do that.
Yeah, if you need to put something on your crab cake, it probably isn't the best crab cake.
Thank you, God.
Hey Jud, are you a basketball guy at all? How was watching Florida win the national championship this year?
Honestly, that's my favorite sport to watch is college basketball, and I love watching Florida play, and I watched every game that I could this year, and watching the national championship game was exciting.
That'd be awesome.
Were you like panicked? Were you losing your mind in like the final minutes of the game?
Yeah, I was a little nervous towards the end, and then I think I was jumping up and down in my apartment when they won.
Jud, do I remember? Are you married?
I am. Yeah.
Okay,
yes,
so
sir.
so
I thought
how,
you were hitting on him or something.
yeah,
Like, what are you doing?
settle down over there. Are you like the type that you can't when it's a game that you care about like that? Do you need to be by yourself because like you're gonna
You
be
get too
going
animated.
you're gonna be going through it and you're gonna make it uncomfortable for her, maybe for anybody else that you be around?
No. She knows that I get excited watching Florida basketball, so she was kind of right there with me. She was sitting on the couch with me watching.
Oh God bless her, man. Like I am when it's something I care about, I got to tell my wife like you're not gonna want to just go to bed. Just go to bed.
Yeah, my wife tries to watch. I mean, we're doing sports for a living, and my
Yeah.
wife's watching baseball and try explaining the infield fly rule to her. Jesus, it was like pulling teeth.
It's just not gonna work.
Yeah.
Hey, the Norfolk Tides are home this weekend. If you're headed down that route to like Virginia Beach, that area, you can check them out. Great events going on all weekend, including free car wash Friday tonight, which is awesome. It's that time of year. You got to be getting that done.
Any chance Kobe Mayo's the guy that puts that on his rice?
Oh, I
didn't even
thought
think
about that.
No.
Oh, okay. He said no.
He's taking it off the table immediately. Star Wars night tomorrow night, and an appearance from the Oriole Bird on Sunday with the Norfolk Tides. Go check them out. Jud, I would say, should we plug your socials? But I'm pretty sure you're a guy who likes to stay private on social, correct?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Don't even bother. Good for you, man. Good for you. Jud Fabian, may there be 62 home runs coming your way this season and every year moving forward. Appreciate you taking the time.
Can't wait to see you in the show, man.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Thank you for doing this.
Yes, sir. Thank you guys for having me.
Jud Fabian with us here on GCR. You're
That's
done.
cool.
You did it.
Yeah.
You all right?
I'm gonna call my mom and let her know.
Yeah, right.
I did it, Ma.
This is the moment. Dad, you proud of me? You proud of me now, Dad?
Dad, I put down 3.5 wieners covered in mayonnaise.
Yeah, you proud of me now?
Yeah.
Do you feel like a changed man? Like this
I feel like I have to change. I'm getting ready to go to acupuncture, and I'll be burping up hot dogs and mayo.
Here's
It's
my
disgusting.
recommendation. Like that bathroom's fine, but if you need to, there's a bigger building over here.
Over in Navy or Army? Who's next to you?
Yeah, the Army.
Who got mad at me last night for screaming?
They still hate us. The Army.
Yeah.
They're still not.
Go
fans.
Navy.
Yeah, right. I agree. I
don't care. Go Coast Guard.
Anchors away, my boys. Are you gonna roll?
Yeah, I got to roll
All
because
right.
I got to get the acupuncture over on Hartford Road.
I love you. I appreciate that you're a man of your word. You came in here. You did what you said.
And I'll
were
wait
gonna
for you
do.
to try to strong arm me back into these
Oh,
contests.
we're going
at eating.
to attempt. We're going.
But I
to do
just
that.
want you guys to be
You know
fully
what-
aware.
you
There's
know,
a chance that
I'm-
you get just ignored.
I'm up 1-0 in our draft. We're doing this for the loser of the draft has to consume a pimento cheese milkshake.
I like pimento cheese.
Do you really?
Yeah.
I don't.
I liked
care
when
for
Chick-fil-A
pimento
came
cheese.
back with the pimento.
Yeah, that was okay.
With honey. That was really good.
Okay.
And then I've been
was messy,
down
but
south.
yeah.
There's been some good places that have like pimento like appetizers and things.
You gonna try that? You want to just come in for the pimento cheese milkshake?
I mean, that one. See, for me, it's more about like that's something I would try.
Proctor's doing the cheesesteak milkshake.
That's just disgusting.
Yeah, that one's disgusting. But the
Well, the
pimento
other one's
cheese milk-
it's dairy. Like it's two different dairy things that you can make work. You know,
But it's still so it's a pimento cheese. It's pimento cheese in the milkshake
Yeah.
and then a sandwich as well dunked into the milkshake.
no, that's just stupid.
That's what we're doing.
Yeah, you guys are.
But
what-
your boy's up 1-0 because the first pick in the draft, I took Malaki Starks. So your boy's up.
Oh, so it's just about the
1-0.
Raven
It's about
picks.
who the Ravens are going to pick during the weekend. So we all picked 20 players, and Griffin, I handed him the gun, and instead of shooting me, he chose to shoot himself. I said, Griffin, you get to pick the order that we draft.
I'll get more.
And it's me and Joe Serpico from Pressbox that did it. And he said,
Anybody take any kickers?
He said, yes. Joe took the first kicker off the board. He took who the hell did he take?
Borigallo.
Yeah, Borigalis.
Yeah,
yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
Dustin
Andres
Mucker.
Borigalis. I took Dustin Mucker. I took a kicker as well. I took Ryan Fitzgerald.
I did not take a kicker.
Yeah, Griffin did not take a kicker.
I don't
So
like the ones in this
I got the
class.
1-0 advantage going into round 2 tonight.
I'd feel good about that because
Yeah,
is
it's-
anybody going to beat one?
That's the question.
That's why you want the
question.
first pick.
The good news, and I said to him, you can have the first pick if you want, or you can have the snake. You can have the third spot. He said, I'll have the snake. You take the first pick. And I said, okay, great. I'll take Malaki Starks. You know, the guy that we all knew was going to be the Ravens' first round.
Griffin, you're going to be eating awful stuff.
Yeah.
The longer you stay here.
Yeah, right. It's time to think about
The
it.
things that you're going to tell,
cheating, yeah, I mean,
the
it's
things
time
you
to
tell
think
your
about it.
parents that you're going to put in your mouth working this job, they're going to be disappointed in you, buddy.
I love you, pal. If you want, we could do Monday, but if not, we could take this week off if you prefer.
No, let's do
All right,
Monday.
we'll do Monday.
Yeah,
We'll
I
just
mean,
make
is it too much of
Jeremy-
me?
No,
Like-
it's not. As
Okay.
I said. I just said about new voices. Love you, pal. Thanks
All
for coming
man, love
in.
you. I got to see you guys.
Jeremy Conn with us here
Thank you, Jeremy.
after he ate his Mayo Dogs. When we come back in,
Now I got to give a 20 to Colson because I texted him to come eat this.
Chris Doering from SEC Network will join us next. Tell us a little bit more about Malaki Starks. That's as we continue on a Friday edition of Glenn Clark Radio.
Something big is coming to Maryland, but it's more than what you think. Because this year, it's more than a race. It's the Preakness Festival 150. And if there's one event you don't want to miss, it's the Magic of Maryland Music Celebration with DJ D-Nice, Club Quarantine 5 Live, BSO alongside conductor Igmar Thomas, special performances by Deborah Cox, Jadakiss, Too Short, and more. Tickets are limited. Find them and see all other events free and ticketed at PreaknessFestival.com.
What makes the Costas Inn so special? This is Stan the Fan telling you that it's the people that work for you, cooking and serving. But that menu is also special with a capital S. Soups, salads, the raw bar, pasta dishes, seafood specialties, and entrees like the Costas combos, steaks, chops, ribs, amazingly delicious meatloaf, and all manner of delicious spilling sandwiches, including pit beef and turkey and subs. Of course, the steamed crabs are as good as you can get anywhere, and they serve them 12 months a year. The crab cakes are out of this world. Costas is open 7 days a week for lunch and dinner at 4100 North Point Boulevard, and coming soon, very soon, Costas in Timonium at the OTB Parlor at Timonium Racecourse. We'll get you the opening date real soon.
Make the most out of every day in your Toyota RAV4. Available in hybrid or gas-only models. A RAV4 can get you where you want to go in style. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new RAV4s from your local Toyota dealer today.
The latest edition of Press Box is available now, and on the cover, Luke Jackson looks at the long road back from Tommy John surgery for Orioles closer Felix Bautista, as well as Kyle Bradish and Tyler Wells. Also inside, we learn more about new Maryland basketball coach Buzz Williams from the players who have played for him at other stops. Plus, evaluators around baseball chime in on Orioles' top prospect Samuel Basayo. Press Box is available for free at over 500 locations throughout the region, including 60 Royal Farm stores. Or you can read the entire issue online at PressBoxOnline.com, where you can also find great betting advice and the best daily coverage of the Orioles, Ravens, and Terps.
Need a trophy or award that's as unique as the achievement? Look no further than Crown Trophy. With locations in Owings Mills and Gaithersburg, they specialize in custom trophies, plaques, and medals for any occasion. From sports and academic awards to employee recognition and corporate gifts, visit crowntrophy.com today and let them help you create a lasting memory for your school, team, or business. Crown Trophy is a proud supporter of the Maryland Public Secondary Schools Athletic Association. crowntrophy.com.
One of the things that's definitely wrong with this country is that this dude still has a job somehow, some way. Glenn Clark.
All right, back in here on GCR as we continue along on a Friday edition of the program. Don't forget countysports.zone. That's where you find everything you need to know about high school sports, like the new #1 team in the country, Archbishop Spalding in boys lacrosse, after they got that big win over Calvert Hall earlier in the week. You can check it all out, countysports.zone, proudly sponsored by your local Toyota dealer, buyatoyota.com. Everything boys and girls lacrosse, baseball, softball, scores, schedules, rankings, updates, everything you need to know. Find out right now, countysports.zone. We continue along here on a Friday edition of Glenn Clark Radio. The Ravens will get back to work a little bit later on tonight in rounds 2 and 3 of the NFL Draft. Last night they selected Malaki Starks, the safety out of Georgia. Let's find out a little bit more about that young man joining us now here on GCR. One of our favorites, former wide receiver, and now a man you see on SEC Network and here on SEC Radio and Sirius XM. He is Chris Doering, and he's with us here on GCR. Chris, it's Glenn in Baltimore. It's great to chat with you, man. Thank you so much for taking the time for us.
Yeah, good morning, man. It's good to be back with you, and certainly excited to talk about Malaki Starks, who I know a lot of folks there in that Baltimore area are excited to have on the Ravens squad.
It just seems like it is really the perfect Ravens pick, right, Chris? Like, I hate to be boring, and it almost seems like, you know, you can write this out before the draft and people are going to praise the Ravens for whatever they do late in the first round. But, like, it just feels like this is exactly right for them. They find a really good football player in an area that was really going to help them. It's really hard for any of us to be down on the idea of them taking Malaki Starks.
Yeah, you know what? It seems like a very a very appropriate pick, and I actually kind of thought heading into the draft it would either be him or Nick Emanwori from South Carolina, the great safety there for the Gamecocks. But it makes a lot of sense with Malaki Starks. I think you're talking about a guy that's been a starter since his freshman year, has played a lot of football for Georgia, has been kind of the quarterback in that secondary for the Bulldog defense, and was coached. When you play in the secondary for Nick Saban, or in this case Kirby Smart, that's the focal point of the attention. Nick Saban played the position back there, so it's something that he's going to come in with a lot of knowledge, a lot of leadership, and a guy that's ready to earn an opportunity there.
Chris, if we were really just breaking down Malaki Starks, the football player, right, the best way for the Ravens to utilize him, because I feel like there were two trains of thought coming into the draft with the Ravens in safety, which is, should they be drafting a deep safety to free up Kyle Hamilton to just be allowed to freewheel and play, that sort of jack-of-all-trades, Swiss Army knife role, or should they be drafting that to allow Kyle Hamilton to just play free safety? By drafting Malaki Starks, which one of those two things do you think they're going to do?
Both. I mean, that's the thing that you get with Malaki Starks, is a guy that's very versatile, can do a lot of different things and play a lot of different positions in the secondary. So I think it gives you a lot of options. And honestly, that was kind of the theme of the draft last night so far, and this entire draft for that matter, especially on the defensive side. You look at all the different players that play multiple different locations, whether you're talking about a guy like Shamar Stewart who can play inside or outside. You look at Jalen Walker, who is not only a stack linebacker, but a guy that can play on the edge as well. Malaki Starks can give you a lot of different things in terms of his ability to cover in the slot, or can play back in the middle of the field as a high safety. I think you're seeing a lot of people now, both on the offensive defense. I mean, look at Travis Hunter. I mean, they're playing offense and defense. These guys aren't just position players; they are football players. So I think that gives both the offensive and defensive coordinators a lot of freedom when it comes to game planning.
He is Chris Doering, SEC Network. He is with us here on GCR. On paper, Chris, it seemed like just in some of these numbers, Starks, he was slightly better 2 years ago in 2023 than he was last year. I'll just give these numbers to you. This is courtesy of ESPN. In 2023, he gave up 5.6 yards per attempt in coverage, and quarterbacks had just a 27 QBR when they targeted him. Last year, he gave up 7.4 yards per attempt in coverage, and quarterbacks had a 61 QBR. Did you notice anything in particular that was concerning to you in coverage last year about Malaki Starks, or is some of that just, hey, that year, maybe one or two plays makes up some of the difference in that number? There's nothing that you're actually worried about in terms of Malachi's coverage?
Well, look, it's difficult playing in the secondary, playing in coverage. I mean, you could be perfectly in stride with a receiver, and a guy can just go make a play. So, yeah, sometimes the stats can be misleading. There were games, I thought, if you go back and look at think about the Alabama game, think about the Ole Miss game. There were times that I didn't think he necessarily played the receiver as well. Ryan Williams is a great receiver for the Tide, and so sometimes you're going to lose some. But, yeah, I think there's some room for improvement, but I also think it comes with, a lot of expectation. When he's as good as he was as a true freshman, as a sophomore, the bar is set pretty high. And so I don't necessarily think he took that big of a step forward from where he had the previous 2 years, but at the same time, this guy is an excellent football player that's played a lot of snaps in the Southeastern Conference and is going to be ready to step in day one for the Ravens.
I'm sure you're familiar with the story of Malaki Starks, the human, and everything that he's been through, dealing with homelessness as a child and becoming the type of leader that he is. I know that you can't grade that type of stuff, and that's not going to alone make someone a great football player, but knowing what you know about Malaki Starks, the human, how much do you feel like whatever he needs to improve, his drive is going to get him there?
Yeah, he is never going to become complacent. I tell you that. And I think, guys that come from a humble beginning like that understand, the path that it's taken to get this opportunity and know how quickly it can be taken away. So I love his story. I love watching what he did at his time at Georgia. I love how hungry he was as a freshman, and to come in and learn that defense. That is a very complex defense that Georgia runs, and requires somebody that's really smart back there in the safety position. So This is a guy that's going to come in. He's going to do his due diligence in learning the playbook. He's going to get watching a lot of film. He's a student of the game and a guy that you have to have that sense of urgency. You guys know this. I mean, when you get to that level, the talent discrepancy is very, very nominal. And so it really what comes down to a guy that gets cut or a guy that ends up being a Pro Bowl player really is the work that he's willing to put in, the amount of drive that he has. I was amazed. I think one of the hardest things to ever get adjusted to after my playing career was stepping away and seeing how many people are just willing to be average. And even at the National Football League level, I think there's guys that come in and they think they're owed something. I think with Malaki Starks, there's nothing that he knows that is given to him, and everything he's going to get is earned.
I love that. Love everything about that. Chris, if I could ask you, because obviously going in now, the round 2, I still think edge rush is an area where the Ravens are probably going to be in the market, and there's 2 names that stand out to me that were in the SEC that I think are going to be right in that area of where the Ravens are going to be picking in round 2. Do you have a thought on Nick Scourton from Texas A&M or Landon Jackson from Arkansas?
Yeah, I love both those guys. I actually talked to Sam Pittman yesterday, the head coach at Arkansas, about Landon Jackson, and the way that he glowingly talked about him, what he meant to that team and that locker room, the leadership that he provided. He's a guy that came over from the transfer portal from LSU and never had any sense of entitlement whatsoever. He's married. He's a little more mature, too. So I think Landon Jackson is going to be a tremendous value pick when he goes tonight. And Nick Gordon, I mean, this dude came in from Purdue and just lit it up in the SEC with a force on that Texas A&M defensive line. So I don't think you can go wrong with either of those players if that's the direction that John Harbaugh chooses to go.
What was the most shocking to you in round 1 of the draft, Chris Doering? Like, what was the thing that you still can't wrap your mind around?
Oof, man, probably for me, Luther Burden not going. You know, this is a guy that when he got to Missouri was thought to have been a sure top, 10 pick.
Right.
I think at times they didn't necessarily do a great job of getting the ball to him. But I also think that there's this idea that maybe he's not a hard worker. He has bad body language. And again, I talked to Eli Drinkwitz yesterday on the air, and he too could not go on enough about what a great teammate he is, how well he prepares, and the fact that, I think a lot of times scouts at this time of year want to overthink things. This dude is amazing with the ball in his hands, whether you're talking about offensively or in the return game. So somebody's going to get a value today again, too, when they decide to choose Luther Burden.
Yeah, I was really surprised by that one as well, genuinely. Like, that one really kind of was a question for me. I just want to – I don't know at this point. I think Jalen Milroe is going to go in round 2, but if somehow he – I'm a little bit nervous that, like, this still ends up working out for the Steelers. They find a quarterback in this process. And here in Baltimore, we don't want that. Where's your 2 on both of them? Give me your thumbnail on the Giants making the move for Jackson Dart with Shedeur still on the board, and then like Jalen Milroe. I feel like the last thing that we saw from him kind of left like such a sour taste in a lot of people's mouths. Do you believe he's still capable of being a franchise quarterback?
Well, so let's start with Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart is a guy that's an ultimate competitor. You listen to Lane Kiffin talk about him on the pivot here recently, the type of teammate he is, the type of friend he is in that locker room. That's what you need at the quarterback position, somebody that's willing to reach out and touch and get to know the other teammates. And so I know he'll acclimate to that Giants locker room very well. He's got a strong arm. His footwork has gotten better the last couple of years there in Oxford. I think he's developed a touch and the ability to kind of layer some of his throws. He's also a tremendous runner. I don't think people give him enough credit for how strong and physically he's able to run with the football. One concern, I guess, some of his best games came against non-SEC competition, which, I'd like to see a little bit more of elevating against the top teams that he plays. But I think he's going to do well there. And then as it relates to Jalen Milroe, I don't know that there's a higher ceiling for anybody at the quarterback, or maybe anybody in this draft in general, because of Jalen Milroe's ability to run the football. Anytime he steps onto the field, he's the best player with the ball in his hands. And this is going to be maybe hyperbole to some degree, but he reminds me a little of Lamar Jackson in that, the amount of defense that you have to, the amount of attention that defenses have to give to him. He's clearly not the passer that Lamar Jackson is right now, but I don't know that Lamar Jackson was the passer that Lamar Jackson is now when he first came out of Louisville. So somebody's going to get a tremendous athlete, tremendous ball carrier. He puts pressure on defenses, not only in the call quarterback run game, but when plays break down. And I think as a receiver, what I love the best about Jalen Milroe, he scrambles with his eyes down the field. It's not, hey, nothing's there, I'm going to tuck it and run. He gets outside, he puts pressure on a defense to decide whether or not he's going to run or he's going to throw the football. You got to cover for 5, 6, 7 seconds, which is incredibly difficult to do. So he's a difference maker, and I'm excited to see where he ends up.
Man, if he's good, I need it to not be the Steelers. I need that to not be the case. Chris Doering, I know obviously you've been busy with radio and TV. Are you working this weekend? What can we plug for you?
Well, here's what you can plug for me. I'm actually I left the SEC Network studios late last night after coverage of the first round. I had plans to be in Oxford, Mississippi, so I literally just landed in Memphis. About to make the hour drive south down to Oxford. They got a great weekend called Double Decker down here. And even though I'm not from Oxford, I have a ton of friends here, so I'm actually relaxing this weekend and going to have some fun stepping away from football a little bit.
That's awesome, man. That's very cool. Enjoy that. Enjoy not having to work every moment of every day. And thank you for squeezing us in the process, Chris. We really appreciate you.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it and look forward to watching how this draft unfolds the next 2 nights.
Thank you, brother. Chris Doering with us here on GCR. Everybody's working. That is the tough part about guest booking on draft weekend, is that everybody's working. Everybody's working, so appreciate him squeezing some time in for us. Tell us a little bit more about Malaki Starks. All right, when we come back in, we'll get a tidbit, we'll get tubular, and we're going to wrap up today by chatting with Ruben Hyppolite, Maryland linebacker, who's getting ready to hear his name called. Don't forget, tomorrow is the day. The Brigance Brigade's annual 5.7K race and 1.57-mile fun walk. Tomorrow, Saturday, April 26th. It's a day full of racing, walking, and family fun. It all starts at the Maryland Zoo in Baltimore, and it supports the fight against ALS. On top of the race and walk, there will also be the kids' fun run, sack races, a freeze dance competition, moon bounce, face painting, cupcake bar, and zoo admission is free, included with your registration. You can get brunch from Jimmy's Famous Seafood added to the registration for just $15, or you can add it day of. So race, play, and make lasting memories together. But you got to register now because it's tomorrow. BriganceBrigade.org. Glenn Clark Radio.
Driving in Maryland? Did you know an Easy Pass from DriveEasyMD.com can save you time and money? Of course you did, because you are a thrifty driver. An antenna reads your Easy Pass transponder and automatically deducts the toll from your Easy Pass account. There, you just saved money with Easy Pass, all without slowing or receiving a notice in the mail. Well done, thrifty driver, well done. Get your Easy Pass at DriveEasyMD.com.
Baltimore's Classic 5 golf courses make golf fun and affordable. All 5 local courses, Pine Ridge, Mount Pleasant, Forest Park, Carroll Park, and Clifton Park, are challenging and fun for players of all skill levels. Book your tee time today at classic5golf.com.
Discover luxury without limits at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland. This April, unlock a world of high-fashion delights and exclusive style. Earn entries daily starting April 1st and join our drawing on Friday, April 25th. 19 will win up to $2,000 in cash and free play. And one grand prize winner will take home a curated Versace homeware collection. At Arundel Mills, must be 21. Please play responsibly. For help, visit mdgamblinghelp.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Something big is coming to Maryland, but it's more than what you think. Because this year, it's more than a race. It's the Preakness Festival 150. And if there's one event you don't want to miss, it's the Magic of Maryland music celebration with DJ D-Nice, Club Quarantine 5 Live, BSO alongside conductor Igmar Thomas, special performances by Deborah Cox, Jadakiss, Too Short, and more. Tickets are limited. Find them and see all other events free and ticketed at PreaknessFestival.com.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
The latest edition of Press Box is available now, and on the cover, Luke Jackson looks at the long road back from Tommy John surgery for Orioles closer Felix Bautista, as well as Kyle Bradish and Tyler Wells. Also inside, we learn more about new Maryland basketball coach Buzz Williams from the players who have played for him at other stops. Plus, evaluators around baseball chime in on Orioles' top prospect Samuel Basayo. Press Box is available for free at over 500 locations throughout the region, including 60 Royal Farm stores. Or you can read the entire issue online at PressBoxOnline.com. where you can also find great betting advice and the best daily coverage of the Orioles, Ravens, and Terps.
Contrary to what some people believe, I actually like this guy when he sleeps. Glenn Clark, talking sports.
All right, winding down here for a Friday edition of the program. Don't forget, every Monday, Stan the Fan, Charles, Ross Grimsley, Luke Jackson. They're talking baseball with you. Facebook.com/PressBoxSports, YouTube.com/PressBoxOnline, or PressBoxOnline.com/video. If you miss it live, you can always check it out in those other locations, live at Facebook.com/PressBoxSports, and it's all brought to you by the Costas Inn every Monday. Stan, Ross, and Luke talking baseball. Orioles do get a win. Cade Povich, nice to see. That was the highest stress, I think, from Felix Bautista yet. Yeah. Obviously it wasn't perfect, but still very good to see him come through in a very high-stress situation last night. They did, for what it's worth, they only scored 2 runs, but I think you do appreciate the fact that it required big hits. It required, I know this is going to sound silly, but like if the only 2 runs were on a 2-run homer with nobody out in the second inning or something like that, it wouldn't feel quite the same way as it did. And I'm not trying to oversell that. Jeremy brought this up earlier. I don't want to make it seem like there was an offensive explosion or like all of the offensive problems are fixed or anything along those lines. And yes, ironically, one of them was Cedric Mullins, who I guess those are probably the 2 guys that have come through the most early on this season for the Orioles, right? Him and O'Hearn, right?
Yeah.
Those been the 2. So, yeah, maybe you would have preferred to have been Adley or Jackson or Gunnar in hopes that gets those guys going, or Jordan Westberg, but they need big hits.
Get a win. Yeah.
They need big hits, and somehow, weirdly, you feel better about it because it required them getting big hits, which they did. They delivered. What a thought. A hit with a runner in scoring position. 2 in this economy. That's twice as many as they had the night before. Look, man, I'm not.
For like the past week, yeah.
I'm not. I don't want to suddenly make it. They needed a win. They got a win, and Cade Povich looked really good.
Was it encouraging all that they scored 3 runs on sac flies the other night? Wednesday, or I guess two sac flies.
No, I'm glad.
It felt like they hadn't done that.
You do need to produce, and for what it's worth, what was the inning early last night? Was it the second inning where they had the 2 runners on to start the inning, and then they literally never even moved them? Like, it was runners on first and second with nobody out, and the inning ended with runners on first and second.
Sounds
It was either the
right.
second or the third.
Let's see. Yeah, Mountcastle walked, then Westberg got singled, and then Kerstad struck out, Laureano flew out, O'Hearn struck out. So.
I mean, like, the runners never moved.
Yeah.
That was in the second?
Yes, it was.
And then the Nationals scored in the bottom of the second.
They did.
That juxtaposition of the Orioles having the opportunity, like the makings of a big inning, not getting the job done, and then the Nationals, I want to say, scored without there being an out. Is that right?
I think they got the first out of the inning. Nathaniel Lowe flew out, and then Rosario ripped that double.
Double, right. Yeah. And then there was an RBI single.
Yeah, and then Josh Bell singled to score the run.
And, like, it's just the juxtaposition of how the top and the bottom of the second inning went. Like, you absolutely had the feeling of, like, oh, this is how this night's going. Like, this is what you're getting. This is who the Orioles are. So, thankfully, that wasn't the case.
Cade Povich put on his,
It's like I said, it would have been silly to send Cade Povich down after his last start. Everybody knew that. I can't believe anybody was talking about
Can't walk 5 batters in back-to-back starts.
Yeah, it was due. I pray it's a turning point for Cade Povich, but I certainly cannot assume it's a turning point for Cade Povich. I can't do that. And then the Knicks held on last night. Won in Detroit.
There was other sports last night.
There were. It was a crazy night. Who else played last night? Oh, the
Grizzlies.
The Grizzlies pounded the. I didn't really end up. So I saw John Morant went down hard in that game, but I don't know what the story was. Was he just okay after that?
Ja Morant. How's Ja Morant doing?
Ja Morant. Like, got undercut by Lou Dort. I guess he was fine.
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah, he didn't look. Yeah, I haven't seen any. I haven't seen anything from Shams with on any sort of update.
So the Grizzlies were pounding the Thunder, and like murdering them, and then it looks, I guess so the Thunder ended up coming back and win to take the 3-0 series lead. What I didn't know because I wasn't paying close attention was, did he come back into the game? Because if the story is he didn't come back into the game, then it makes all the more sense that the Thunder ended up rallying. They were down like 27 or something like that. I mean, they were down huge in that game and ended up rallying in order to take Game 3 and take the 3-0 lead in that series. And I don't even remember what the other game was last night. What was the other game last night? Were those the only two? Those were the only two last night. There were just 2 playoff games last night. And did we ever get an update on Jimmy Butler?
I've not seen one yet.
What the hell is going on around here? The hell's happening?
Which means maybe it's not good. You know.
Yeah, you would. I guess you would presume that if they quickly got good news, they would want that out there, right?
They expect. Apparently, someone expects him to miss Game 3.
Shams reported that he was diagnosed with a deep glute muscle contusion. And that Game 3 is in, quote, serious jeopardy.
Okay, so.
Unquote. Don't know. Yeah, the Rockets are a tough team to watch, right? Because they're good, but they're not playing a modern brand of basketball. It is way more defense, and they wouldn't mind if somehow the game ended in the 90s. I'm not trying to say it's remember the early Spurs teams where they would prefer the game. They wanted it to be a college basketball score. Those early Spurs teams were winning.
Those were the best.
No, they were not.
Yeah, they were.
They wanted to win 80-78. They wanted to win 75-74. They wanted to make it unwatchable, those basketball games. The Rockets aren't that, and that can't happen the way that teams shoot these days. You're never going to see that occur again. But they definitely want the games in the 90s if possible. So
and they did have the benefit of 2 nights off as well. So. And Jimmy Butler's still not going to be back for Game 3. So.
That makes you wonder.
Yeah.
How bad it is.
Yeah.
All right, very good. Let's get a tidbit. Tidbit is brought to you today by the print issue of Pressbox, which is available for free at your neighborhood Royal Farms. They have hundreds of locations around town where you find Pressbox. Just talking about Felix Bautista getting a stressful save last night, and there he is on the cover. Luke Jackson with the story about the hard road back for him, Kyle Bradish. Tyler Wells from major elbow and Tommy John surgery. Go pick that up right now at your neighborhood Royal Farms. They have the hundreds of locations around town where you find Pressbox, and read it all, PressBoxOnline.com. Yes, sir.
There wasn't, I guess, I didn't see too many, I guess, specific to last night's draft, but I did see the, do you know which team and then teams are the longest drought of not drafting a first-round quarterback? Who is the team to not draft a first-round quarterback the longest? And I have the top 5 in front of me.
I'm going to have to go team by team in order to figure this out. All right, so Herbert for the Chargers.
Yeah, go ahead and do this. Do every team.
Goff, right, for the Rams.
Mm-hmm.
The 49ers. Kaepernick wasn't first round, right?
Kaepernick was not.
I'm going to say the 49ers.
49ers are not in the top 5. They drafted Trey Lance in the first round.
I forgot Lance was a first round.
They drafted Trey Lance in the first round. Not all that long ago.
Damn. Damn. I completely forgot he was a first round pick. It's the Seahawks.
The Seahawks are in the top 5.
Yeah.
They're in the third longest drought. Who was it though?
Last first round quarterback for the Seahawks.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is good. Last first round quarterback for the Seahawks. So I'm working on was Jesus, man. You got to go back a ways, don't you?
You do. Third longest drought without a first-round quarterback.
Yeah, but now I'm like really stunned that there's longer.
Yeah. And there's 2 more.
So this is predating because obviously it predates Russell Wilson.
Yeah,
It
Russ
predates
wasn't
predates Matt Hasselbeck. I don't think John Kitna was a first-round pick.
No, he was not. Or
I don't even know if he was started with the Seahawks. He might have started with the
Bengals,
Bengals, maybe.
Was John Kitna? Maybe was Kitna the first-round quarterback, and then he
I don't think he was a first-rounder, but was it Mark McGuire's brother? Was it Dan McGuire?
No, it wasn't Dan McGuire.
Okay. Was it? Who the hell was it?
Is he an undrafted free agent? Yeah, he was. Wow. But, Kitna was an undrafted.
Kitna was undrafted.
Yeah.
Wow. I never knew he was on a first-round pick. I didn't know that. Was it? Who was the guy that went to Rick Mirer?
Yep, Rick Mirer.
So that year, the big debate was Mirer and Bledsoe. Like there was a big.
And which one? Who won out there? I guess Bledsoe was better.
Yeah, Bledsoe definitely Bledsoe. There's no question about
Rick Mirer.
Yeah,
I know the last first-round quarterback.
I know Bledsoe's a punchline because of the Tom Brady stuff, but like Bledsoe was a very capable NFL quarterback. All right, Cardinals obviously Murray.
So now I'm wondering who like the Seahawks ever drafted a first-round quarterback. Like they took Mirer, I guess, and they were like, we're never doing that again.
Right. This sucked. Yeah, we'll never do it again.
1993 though, yes, the last time the Seahawks drafted a quarterback in the first round.
The Raiders were Carr.
So that drought continues.
Is Carr long enough to have made the list?
Carr's not long enough to make the list.
Obviously, the Broncos was just last year. The Cowboys could be on this list.
Cowboys are on the list.
Yeah.
Second longest.
Is it really Troy Aikman?
Yep.
Damn.
Troy Aikman in 1989.
That's crazy. But yeah, Tony Romo wasn't a first-round pick. Dak Prescott wasn't a first-round pick. I mean, I would say good for them for finding some success in guys that weren't first-round picks, but they have nothing to show for it. Like, they definitely were good quarterbacks, but, they're not the best quarterbacks in football. They're just good. Obviously, it's not the Texans, C.J. Stroud. The Saints.
Saints are the longest
Is it
team.
Archie Manning?
Arch Manning or Archie Manning, sorry.
Not Arch Manning.
Archie Manning in 1971, the last time the Saints took a quarterback
crazy,
in the
man.
first round. Everyone thought maybe, that's going to
this was going to be the year.
I
I would also say that about the Saints. Like, I get it why you don't, but like you don't have a quarterback. I understand the thought that like, Jackson Dart's not worth being picked here. You don't have one.
Well, they got Kelvin Banks though, so I don't think Derek Carr's going to need any more shoulder surgeries now.
Of course,
I think he's got the last
Drew
one.
Brees was drafted by the Chargers, became their franchise quarterback for a long time. Before that, they didn't really have a franchise quarterback. They had a bunch of dudes like Aaron Brooks and Bobby Hebert and Billy Joe Tolliver.
Derek Carr was not a first-round pick.
Carr wasn't a first-round pick?
Yeah. So the Raiders are Jamarcus Russell. So they're the fourth.
They're fourth on the list.
Sorry,
okay.
I completely
That's right. He was a second-round pick.
Yeah. So Jamarcus
David
Russell.
David Carr was a first-round pick.
That sounds right.
David Carr went in the first. It might have been. Was David Carr number 1 overall? David Carr might have been number 1 overall.
He was, 1-1 and 0-2.
Yeah, but Derek Carr was not. You know what happened is legitimately I just got Derek and David Carr flip-flopped. You're right about that. So Jamarcus was the. So
and
he
then
was
the
fourth.
fifth, and then the team in the fifth longest. Team
all right. So obviously it's not the Titans.
Not the Titans.
It just happened last night. It's not
Still
the
wouldn't have been
Jaguars
before last night,
because
but
Trevor
it's not
Lawrence.
the Jags.
It's not the Dolphins because of Tua. It's the Buccaneers would be Jameis. I don't think is Jameis long enough.
No.
Yeah. The Falcons obviously just last year.
Thought they might take a quarterback again. Who knows? Last night.
It was weird.
They traded back up. Oh.
The number of times they were like showing a team, they were showing like Shedeur on the screen when like there was a team that was on the clock that you're like,
well, they're not taking.
They're not taking a quarterback. Why are you showing
what
Shedeur
broadcast
right
did they have?
They had the ESPN broadcast.
Okay. Jason Whitlock sent out a tweet today. Said, "Wow, all that money they paid to Mel Kiper, that the Sanders paid to Mel Kiper." No.
If you could have not used Jason Whitlock's name in a sentence, and we would have been all right. Minnesota, obviously, last year.
You're right. I probably should. Oh, yeah, not Minnesota.
Detroit, I guess, is Stafford. Is Stafford long enough to be on the list?
Stafford is long enough to be on the list.
That's it?
Yep,
That's top five?
That's it. That's top 5. Cowboy
All right,
or
very
Saints
good.
the longest. Saints the longest. And it will continue for at least one more year.
At least one more year, no doubt. All right, very good. Let's get tubular.
We will.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Can't wait.
Yeah.
It's going to be a good tubular, too.
I-
Long
sure,
weekend.
Sure, I bet it will. Nothing like ending on a bang. Still?
Have you ever thought of taking a cruise to these wonderful destinations with sunny skies and beautiful beaches? Well, wait no longer. We're ready for you to cruise from the Cruise Maryland Terminal.
Have a little phrase that you can go from baggage to margarita in about 15 minutes.
Choose fun with an array of destinations, onboard activities, entertainment, and world-class cuisine.
Contact your travel agent and book your cruise today. Let your adventure begin.
All right, here's what's coming up this weekend, totally tubular-wise. And yes, it is a lot. Griffin is right about that part. Orioles-Tigers out in Detroit for 3 games starting tonight. Masson 2 for all of them. Tonight, 6:40, Brandon Young and Casey Mize. If you happen to live in the Toronto or New York markets, you can see it on MLB Network. Tomorrow, 1:10, Charlie Morton and Jackson Jobe. That's on MLB Network nationally tomorrow. And Sunday on Masson 2, it's 1:40 for Dean Kramer and Tarek Skubal. And that's also the free game of the day on MLB TV, so you can watch that elsewhere in the country. Or if you're in the Toronto and New York markets, you can watch it on MLB Network. So big weekend for everybody in the Toronto and New York markets. Tonight's NFL Draft continues, 7 o'clock on ABC, ESPN2 tonight, and NFL Network. Tomorrow it'll be at noon on ABC, ESPN, and NFL Network.
What's on? Yeah, hockey, I guess. Is that
basketball. NBA playoffs tonight on ESPN.
Should be hockey.
I guess. CBS Sports Network, Loyola Army. If Loyola somehow pulls off the upset, then they will go from not being able to win a game to into the Patriot League tournament somehow. And there's actually a math where they could still get in even if they lose tonight, but it would require Navy would have to lose to Bucknell, which seems unlikely. Navy Bucknell, 7 o'clock on ESPN Plus tonight. Big Ten Women's Tournament down in College Park on Big Ten Network. Northwestern Hopkins at 5, Michigan, Maryland at 7:30. And the Maryland baseball hosts Nebraska at 6 o'clock on Big Ten Network Plus. As Griffin brought up, hockey tonight, Capitals Canadiens Game 3, 7 o'clock on TNT, True TV, and Monumental. TNT and True TV have Kings Oilers Game 3 after that. TBS Hurricanes Devils Game 3 at 8. ESPN Celtics Magic Game 3 at 7. Lakers T-Wolves Game 3 at 9:30. ESPN U and NBA TV tonight for Pacers Bucks Game 3 at 8 o'clock. Tomorrow, Big Ten Tournament, Johns Hopkins Penn State at noon on Big Ten Network Plus. Maryland Nebraska baseball at 2. Towson wraps up the regular season, a game that doesn't really matter. They're at Hofstra tomorrow, 4 o'clock on Flow Sports. Stevenson's at Widener tomorrow, 1 o'clock, GoMaxSports.tv. The Maryland football spring game is at noon tomorrow on Big Ten Network. You can watch it on TV. TNT tomorrow, day-long playoffs. Cavs Heat Game 3 at 1. Thunder Grizzlies Game 4 at 3:30. Nuggets Clippers Game 4 at 6. And then ABC tomorrow night for Rockets Warriors Game 3 at 8:30. I bet they're feeling silly if Jimmy Butler doesn't play. That's their primetime game. TBS and True TV tomorrow for Lightning Panthers Game 3 at 1. Golden Knights Wild Game 4 at 4. Maple Leafs Senators Game 4 at 7. Stars Avalanche Game 4 at 9:30. And on Sunday, Patriot League Women's Tournament, Lehigh Navy at noon on ESPN Plus. The Big Ten Women's Championship Game, 4 o'clock. Depends on who wins today. Nebraska Maryland baseball, 1 o'clock. BTN Plus. Playoffs. You know what? I'm done. I'm tapped out. You can see it all at GlennClarkRadio.com.
Finish.
Nope, I'm done.
Come on.
Too much.
Come on.
Too much. Go see it all there. That's where.
What's
that's
the
where you
UFL
go.
game tonight?
No one cares. Non-sports.
Someone cares.
Non-sports.
Bet somebody does.
Non-sports.
Big one tonight, the Season 3 finale, 2-hour event on CBS at 9 o'clock. Fire Country.
Oh, hell yeah.
Season 3 finale.
This is the one that What's-His-Face was on?
Jelly
Roll?
Yeah. So,
Are they killing Jelly Roll?
I hope not. Unless, let's see.
I assume there's a fire.
As long as he redeems himself, if he had already redeemed himself.
Didn't he do a song about fires?
Probably.
Isn't one of his songs like something?
Yeah, but his new or whatever is like
is that because
new
of
popular song
is that because of the show that he did that?
Maybe. I mean, there was.
I don't know any of the words of the song other than fire.
On Fire is the.
But what?
No, that was one of it. That was a song from a long time ago.
He's got something.
Burning.
Is that what it's called?
That's the new song. Burning.
Fire.
Burning.
That's what they all sound like to me. I'm sorry.
No, that's exactly what the words are, though.
I think he's talented. I do.
Something.
None of his music has stood out to me in any way, man.
Go watch Twisters.
Okay. Yeah.
and then all of a sudden,
Come on.
Will open your eyes.
Yeah. No,
Havoc, a new movie on Netflix. It actually looks pretty good. We got Tom Hardy, Forrest Whitaker, and Timothy Oliphant.
Okay.
And they're all in this action movie, and I have no idea like what the premise is or what it's. I mean, I read the log line, so I do, but the trailer looked awesome.
Timothy Oliphant's character. This came up recently. Do you remember what his character's name was when he was on The Office late? When they were like just running people through post Michael Scott.
No. What was he?
He was
one episode, 2 episodes. He was dating somebody?
No, he had,
or was he the manager?
It was the Pam. He was the. I think he was a manager for a little bit, or at least worked there. And the story was related to Pam, like they went out or something.
They went
he
out
rejected
once.
her,
Okay.
and it was like a big storyline with like why did he reject me, and they
like made stuff awkward with Jim.
Yeah, but then Jim also wanted to know for some reason, like what the deal.
I don't
was.
know. I have to know his character's name.
Dude, I don't.
You know what it is?
No idea. It came up and somebody knew it, and I was like, how would anybody? And they were like, dude, it's The Office. I'm like,
The Office.
It's the end.
AJ was the other guy. Was the one guy that got between Holly and Michael. So I don't think it was AJ.
Oh,
it wasn't
no,
AJ.
It wasn't AJ. No. What the hell was? All right, whatever.
I don't know.
I'm doing too much here.
Oh, I thought like you knew, and it was going to be a big reveal at the end of this.
I was trying to see if it was something that other people
of course
knew.
I don't know.
Somebody.
I mean, like I like there's not much. I mean, like I feel like I know a lot about The Office, but like compared to people that like The Office, I feel like I don't.
It was apparently Danny Cordray.
Oh, okay, that
does
sound.
Was a successful
that sounds
traveling
right.
salesman before joining Dunder Mifflin. Dude, they were just throwing anything at the wall in those post Michael Scott seasons, and we kept watching for some reason. I don't know why we did, because like we should know better.
Will Ferrell was all right for the couple. I mean, I don't know. You read Rainn Wilson and
I actually remember
John
Will Ferrell.
Krasinski,
Do you
of
remember
course.
Will Ferrell's character's name? I don't know why I remember this. It's
No, I
embarrassing.
don't.
D'Angelo Vickers. So embarrassing that I remember that.
The finale was good. I mean,
And what was James Marsden's character's name?
I
was going really. No, not James Marsden.
Yeah,
No,
it was like,
who is it? James Spader. James Spader.
Oh yeah. Robert California. Of
That's
course.
right. Robert California.
Of course, Robert
exactly
California.
right.
That one I
Thank you.
know.
I don't know why I said James Marsden. Too many James. Yeah.
Robert California was the best. I liked him.
He went skinny dipping at the party. And
What
all
about
that.
Kathy Bates? Though, what was her name?
Oh God, what was Kathy Bates' name? I don't remember, but she was on with Michael Scott. That's not the end of it.
Yeah, I guess you're
Like,
right. I
yeah,
guess you're right.
It doesn't count.
But
I don't know why I'm
we don't
blanking
name.
on what her name was. Yeah.
What was her name?
All right, we're doing too much.
Anyway, for all these guys in this cool movie, the trailer was only like 60 seconds, but it was like
Joe.
boom, boom,
Joe
pow.
was her name. Joe Bennett.
Apparently, Tom Hardy was some kind of cop, and now he's fighting criminals.
It does sound promising. I will give you that.
Yes,
It
it's on
sounds
Netflix.
promising.
Havoc. If I mean, as we mentioned, it's a big sports weekend. But if you got like probably 90 minutes, I'm guessing that's how long this movie is. Go ahead and check out Havoc on Netflix. Baby Girl is streaming on HBO Max. If anyone needs to see that, still that's the Nicole Kidman.
Oh, I did want to watch
has
that.
an affair with
Yeah,
her intern.
I do want to watch that.
Yeah,
yes.
so that's on Max. SNL is still off this weekend. They'll be back next
They
week.
did announce their final hosts for the season. Did you see it?
All I saw was next week. No, who's the final host?
So next week
is Quinta Brunson,
and
Benson Boone.
The following week is the one that everybody's excited about. Walton Goggins is hosting SNL in 2 weeks. Very fired up about
Is he a musical
that.
guest too?
No. I will never understand. By the way, if they had him do Baby Billy songs, like they let Timothy Chalamet do the Bob Dylan songs, if they just had him come out and do Misbehaving and Payday, which are both smash hits, and with due respect, way better than the Bob Dylan songs that Timothy Chalamet sang on SNL. If they had him also be the musical guest, which would be 1,000 times better than SNL is obsessed with this band Arcade Fire, who were like indie darlings, but I'll be the one to say it, were never that good.
Whoa, come on.
Never that good. And
how dare you?
There's some questionable allegations that have
really?
been made. And SNL gave them a prominent spot on the 50th anniversary special. Are letting them come. I will never. I don't know if this is like a Lorne Michaels. Somebody's got naked pictures of him or something. I'll never understand it. But they're the musical guest for that one. And then the finale is Scarlett Johansson, so Mrs. Colin Jost. And, your boy is the musical guest for the finale this
Jelly
season.
Roll?
No, you love this guy.
Post Malone?
You love him.
Not Post Malone?
No, you love this. Somebody you love more than that.
Who do I love more than Post Malone?
And we were talking about him in depth on opening day.
Bad Bunny?
Bad Bunny.
Bad Bunny?
Bad Bunny.
Bad Bunny?
Bad Bunny.
Oh, that's nice.
Finale
Nice.
musical guest. That's
He
your
hosted
boy.
last time. Now he's relegated to just musical guest. What the hell?
Maybe he didn't want to host this time.
I mean, yeah,
Maybe
it's also
the
true.
case.
It's also true.
And plus, you're going to push out Mrs. Colin Jost for.
I mean, come on. I mean,
Bad
she gets
Bunny.
mentioned every show anyway. Like,
Basically,
what the
it's true.
hell? Yeah, that's. Oh, I mean, Roger Gemstone's Last of Us, the rehearsal on Sunday night. John Oliver's back as well.
That's
or
good.
maybe he was on last week. Yeah, I think. Yeah.
No, he was not on last week.
Okay, so he's back.
And
Oliver's
and
back.
Jon Stewart wasn't on last week. I don't know what was going on. I guess it was Easter. That's what happened.
So?
Yeah, I'm with you. I am with you. I think that's the story. All right. Thanks today to Jeremy Conn for coming in and paying off his debt. Thanks to Jud Fabian. Thanks to Gene Cathcart, Malaki Starks high school coach. Thanks to Chris Doering from SEC Network. And also thanks to Ruben Hyppolite, former Terp, who you're about to hear from. We're going to get them all up in the greatest hits section of the Say His Name and He Appears.
I believe in Joe Hendry.
Tab at GlennClarkRadio.com. Monday on the program, we will get. I feel bad. We've Andre Mills, incoming Maryland basketball transfer, is going to join us. Plus, we're going to have a lot more draft fallout to get to on Monday's show. Look forward to that. Thanks to everybody at PressBox, all of our great sponsors and partners, including Live Casino and Hotel. Don't forget, we'll be back for the Derby next Saturday. Cruise Maryland, Crown Trophy, Brigance Brigade, Easy Pass, Baltimore's Classic 5 golf courses, HelpMyGamblingProblem.org, Costas Inn, the Preakness Festival, Maryland Sports, your local Toyota dealer, buyatoyota.com. Thanks to Griffin at Griffin_Bass. Follow us, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Glenn Clark Radio.
That's what they should call it.
We're about 3 weeks behind on TikTok content. We'll get there. Eventually. We'll get there.
And video up this week, I think.
I think one, yes. We're still about 3 weeks behind. We got a lot going on.
You're right. There's a lot of work needs to be allocated.
Yeah. Who are you allocating it to? You want to show up? You want to go to the intern showcase next Friday and find us some new interns?
What's next Friday? I cannot next Friday.
Oh, look at this guy. I can't. Sorry. That's the problem. That's how we end up not having interns. All right. Have a great weekend. Go Birds. Go local lacrosse teams. Duke sucks. Oh, and don't forget the Bat Around is back on Sunday at 5 o'clock with Paul and Zach. We wrap up today's show by, I had to do this a little bit earlier, but an opportunity to talk to a young man who's looking forward to hearing his own name called, former Terps linebacker Ruben Hyppolite, right here on GCR. NFL Draft Weekend continues, and our next guest is getting ready to hear his name called. He had a heck of a career at the University of Maryland, and he put up an insane time in his 40 at Pro Day that I got to get to the bottom of because it seems impossible. He is former Terps linebacker Ruben Hyppolite, and he is with us now here on GCR. Ruben, it's Glenn. It's great to catch up with you, man. Thank you for taking the time for us.
My guy, Glenn, I appreciate you for having me on here. It's a great opportunity.
Absolutely, man. Ruben, first of all, before we get to, can you just tell me, like, how your nerves are at this point? Like, are you a pacer? Are you a, go out and go for a run type? Like, how are you handling all of this?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not nervous at all, man. I did everything that I needed to do. Like you said before, I put together a great career. I put together a great body of work. All the visits I went on and all the workouts that I did, I put my best foot forward. I did everything I needed to do. It's in God's hands now, so I'm just here, waiting for my phone to ring, man. That's it. But nonetheless, man, I'm blessed for everything.
I appreciate that, man. It's incredible perspective. It's not easy, I'm sure, for everybody to feel the same way.
Yeah.
Ruben, did I see correctly that you posted a 4.39 on Pro Day?
I did, yes, sir.
How? Explain that to me.
Well, first of all, I ran track growing up. So elementary school, middle school, I ran track, so I had a track background. And then, coming for, during the pre-draft process, just working with Test Academy, based in New Jersey, with Kevin Dunn, Otto Bolden, JT, all the coaches in Florida, Chad Wilson. Working with them. Them staying on me, just going through the grind, changing my body, really credit a lot of that to them, helping me with, in the weight room, on the field, in the timing gates and whatnot, and just helping me, reach all of my goals that I wanted to reach. Lauren Dunn, the nutritionist, that whole team. Shannon, who was out there, that was our massage therapist, so just the whole team out there making sure that not only myself but all the guys were good enough and were solid enough to run the times we wanted to run, bench the amount of times we wanted to bench, and just hit all of our numbers, man, so we could, have the best chance of, making it to this next level.
Can I just, because you said Otto Bolden, is that the Otto Bolden, like the Olympian Otto Bolden?
Yeah, yes, sir. The Otto Bolden.
Man,
That's my.
How cool is that?
Yeah, that's my guy. Yeah, it's real cool, man. Just working with him, seeing his perspective. Him being in Florida. He was in Florida since I was younger, running track at Anson Sports Complex in Miramar. Shout out to them and Reggie out there for letting us use their facility. But just getting with him on the track and just him fixing all of our forms and just allowing us to be more efficient when we run, so we can run those low times. And him and I just had a lot of talks throughout training, and he's giving me tips and tricks, and like to this day, we still talk and we text and whatnot. So
that's so cool.
That's a great relationship that I built, through Test and through Kevin Dunn and his company and his program, and that's one that a relationship that I'll have forever. So just being around him, picking his brain, it was definitely good for my development, not only as a football player but as a person.
It's awesome, man. That's really cool. Ruben Hyppolite is with us on GCR. Ruben, let me go back for a second, right? You obviously had a hell of a career, as you point out. You also are a guy who's not from here, but yeah, you stuck it out at every turn and stayed at Maryland. Can you take me through why it was that it was important to you to do that and to maybe complete the race at Maryland instead of what I'm sure were maybe opportunities for you to go to other places and maybe get some paydays along the road?
Yeah, it was the people, and that was my vision, coming to college. I wanted to be around great people who can elevate me in all aspects. Obviously, the football aspect was the most important one, but, aspects as far as in the business world, community aspect, Maryland in a whole is a great area to be in. I'm from Fort Lauderdale, so I'm around the Miamis of the world. I'm around the, Orlandos of the world and like things like that. And there's a lot of great opportunities down here in Florida too. But just going to a place like Maryland, and then being in a spot where DC is 30 minutes, 20 minutes away, Baltimore is another 30, 45 minutes away, and then you got your Annapolis of the world that I love to go to and hang out with, and I have like 3 mentors up there through the mentorship program at Maryland that Coach Locke created. So it was a lot of people for me, man. I mean, I knew the football piece was going to take care of itself, because that's one area that I could control, and that I could, it was predicated off of how much time I put into it, and I feel like I did all that I could to put myself in the best position. But all the other things, man, was I needed help from the great people that I was around, like not only Coach Loxley, but Coach Brian Williams, he was recruiting me. Coach Corey Robinson, when he was there, he was recruiting me. And then, all my coaches that I've had, like, the Lance Thompsons of the world, James Thomases of the world, and so on and so forth, with so many staff members, coaches, personnel people, and then my teammates, like, I play with a bunch of talent. You got Jalen Duncan, Dante Demas, you got Jacorian Bennett, you got Deontay Banks, you got Tarheeb Still, like Dante Trader, who I'm coming out with, Jordan Phillips, Tommy Akimbosote, Ty Felton, like it's Rakim Jarrett, Talia. Like it's so many guys that I built relationships with, Glenn, DJ Glaze, like that I came in with, and that I've seen play at a high level, and that they're in the league now, and now here soon I'll be in the league with them, in that fraternity with them. So it's just a lot of great things, a lot of great people that I've been around. Just so excited to experience this and just share that with them. So it was all about the people, man. The people made the place for me, and that's what allowed me to be successful.
Awesome.
Truly, I believe that.
That's awesome, man. Ruben, you bring up all those names, right? And there are a couple in there, obviously, that were very high picks, right? Like Deontay, obviously, stands out among that group. But there were other guys in that group that, had to go the long road in order to get there, right? Like Rakim, who was, a wildly heralded prospect, but had to fight for his opportunities. As you've gone through this and maybe didn't get some of the invites that I'm sure you would have liked to have gotten in this process, and not knowing how this weekend's going to play out, have you had to remind yourself, dude, if that's what I got to do, if I got to take the hard way, I'm meant for that?
Yeah, I mean, going back to the invitations, I mean, I was banking on getting the invite to the East-West Senior Bowl, combine, I thought I put together a good body of work, and I thought I earned the right to be able to compete, amongst the best, or amongst the guys that were deemed the best guys. And when I didn't get that opportunity, I didn't pout about it. I just, said, okay, well, I got one opportunity to do this, and, bet my back's against the wall. And, I do my best work when my back is against the wall. That's how I like it. That's how I prefer it, because, pressure is always a privilege. So, I mean, as soon as I found that out, it was go time from there. It's always been go time, but now it was like, I started getting excited. And when I get excited, some dangerous shit happens. So, excuse my language,
No,
but
you're good.
yeah, man. But I just went to work, man. Like I said, Kevin Dunn and his staff, we just went to work. I told them all the numbers I wanted to hit. Got with Otto. Otto was like, okay, you want to hit these numbers? Let's get to it. And we just went to work, man. We just put our head down, chop wood, carry water. Had a great experience at the Hula Bowl. Got that opportunity. So I appreciate, I believe it was Nick Logan, the owner of the Hula Bowl, and his staff, and then, getting around those people. And it was a great showing. It was like, a bunch of scouts out there. I had a bunch of meetings with a bunch of teams. Had like 18 meetings that weekend. And then, obviously had a great week, put together a great week, from the practices to the games. It was just great, all like through and through. Showcased a lot of my ability on the field, and then, got to the pro day, performed, and did all I wanted to do at the pro day. Obviously, with that 40 being the main event, I just wanted to just, let people know that, who I was, and that I'm here. If they forgot about me, just remind them. And if they didn't know me, then now they know. And I feel like I did that with my performances, just not only in the 40 man, but the drills. Like, I put it all together that weekend, or on that day. And then in the visits, just, put my best foot forward, show my personality, was personable. Had great talks with all the position coaches that I met with, and all the coordinators and GMs and head coaches. We talked a lot of ball, which is fun for me. So, I mean, I did everything that I needed to do, man. And I put my best foot forward. Now, it's not college. I don't get to choose where I want to go. But, they get to decide on bringing me into the organization. And, whatever organization gets me, they're going to get somebody who they're not going to regret picking. So.
By the way, I need this to be on the record, because the moment that Derek Queen said I'm from Baltimore, that's why I said the moment that's on a T-shirt, I'm buying it. I'm telling you right now, if you put "when I get excited, some dangerous S happens" on a T-shirt, I'm buying it. Like, I'm just letting you know that right now.
For sure, no doubt.
That
no
is
doubt,
tremendous, man. Ruben. Ruben, you've talked a lot, and I know you're a South Florida guy, but you've talked a lot, and we've talked to you before about Ray Lewis and the significance of him being someone that you looked up to and you wanted to be like. How much have you carried that through? Like, how real do you feel like you have that type of spirit, that type of ability to make that type of impact at the next level?
Yeah, I mean, just on the tape. I feel like I did it, on the collegiate level, at a high level, as far as just, communicating, leading my guys, playing off of my guys. Like, I think I knew my system, and I knew who was playing in the system with me, and I made plays based off of that. And I think that's what, Ray did a good job of, not only leading, obviously a tremendous leader of men, but, like, he knew how to play the game. He knew the system that he was in. And, him and Ed, like, me and Dante talk about this all the damn time, as far as if we were to be on the same team, how crazy that would be. But, like, just having like-minded guys that I was able to play with, like, your Dante Traders, your Tarheeb Stills, Nick Crosses, like just those DB safeties who I played with. Like, I had to tag along with either when the safety had to come down in the box, or I had to, play and tie in with the star or the nickel position. Like, having those guys, like Jacorian Bennett, like, they were just smart and savvy players. And then, just being able to know those guys, know, how they watch the tape, what they see on the field, how they fit within the scheme, and then knowing how I fit within the scheme. And then obviously just, knowing my guys up front. I put a lot of great talent up front. So, I mean, you could just turn on the tape and see me directing and, erasing, leading, guiding, selling out, putting myself on the line for other people to make plays, and so on and so forth. So, I mean, I put it on tape that I can do everything. I can cover, I can blitz, I can play the run. I can play zone coverage. I can play man coverage. I have the speed to do anything and everything. I have the ability to, play in multiple fronts and in multiple positions. And I play special teams, too, at a high level. So, I mean, it's the body of work, man. And that's why I stayed at Maryland for that amount of time, because I really wanted to put all of that together so I would leave no doubt. And I felt like I did that.
We know it's true. We know it's true. With all that in mind, right, and knowing how much Ray Lewis meant to you, what if it was in Baltimore? Like, could you imagine? We got to keep Bo around last year, and that was awesome, right? Because I love that dude. He's a 10. Could you imagine? I know you're going to be excited. I get it. I know what I'm doing here when I ask these questions. You're about to be the biggest Detroit Lions fan there ever was. Like, I know how this works. But what if it was? What if you were putting on purple and doing all that here next week?
I mean, I thought about it. What if it was them? What if it was Miami? They got to come back home and play. So, I mean, what if it was Washington? Still home. I'm still, around the area, where I went to college, I went to school. It has success. So, I mean, man, it's a lot of what ifs. But, I mean, I'm just where my feet are right now. Right now, I'm currently in South Florida, enjoying this weather and this time with the family, and then hopefully, we have some fun over this weekend stretch. So
I love it, man. Ruben Hyppolite, wherever it ends up being, remind Maryland fans where they can give you a follow on social media.
Yeah, on Instagram at Ruben Knows. That's RUBEN KNOWS, and you can follow me on Twitter at Ruben Knows 1, RUBEN KNOWS, and then number 1, and then that's it. That's where you can find me.
Ruben, we're gonna be rooting for you no matter what. I mean, obviously you have to understand if it's Pittsburgh, it's gonna be awkward. Like, it's gonna be awkward
No doubt.
for us. But we're gonna root for you no matter how this plays out. And it's awesome to hear you say what this experience at Maryland has meant for you. And it was really an awful lot of fun for us watching you play football, dude. You're a hell of a football player, and we can't wait to see where this path takes you. Thank you for spending the time with us this morning, man. We really appreciate you.
Yeah, and I appreciate, the whole community, just Maryland bringing me in and from high school to now, like it's been a hell of a ride, and I've got a lot of support from not only my family and friends and that I made up there, but from the community and just the fans and everybody. So, I mean, it means a lot to me, me being an out-of-state kid and them treating me like, I'm from Maryland, so it's just, it means a lot to me, so I appreciate y'all, and I appreciate, the fan base and everybody involved.